Hello everyone, welcome back to the Erasmus Expeditions. We are here with session number 7 of Evermore le Masquerade. This is our D&D 5th edition campaign that takes place in the world of Rostveen, but in particular in a kingdom known as Gerdes, which is based on Baroque Spain, Baroque France, and Baroque Venice. A little bit of Orlais from the Dragon Age series kind of sprinkled in. But yeah, this has been a really, really fun campaign so far. I've wanted to run a game in this particular part of Rostveen for a very long time. So I'm super duper eager to jump back in because this is already a very, very tangled web. But before we do, this episode is titled The Division of Truth. So there's going to be a test at the end. I hope all of you studied. There's going to be trade questions and no. So yeah, this has been just a ton of fun so far. These players are absolutely fantastic, and the characters that they bring every single time that we play is just nothing short of stellar. I'm going to go ahead and give the same introductions that I give at the top of all of my games, and that is, if foul language or mature subject matter or immature humor are problems for you, then this is not the game for you to watch. Especially this game, there is going to be a lot of innuendo and a lot of sexuality throughout this game. There will never be any direct sexual representation, but we're going to come about as close as we can. We're going to edge you. Welcome to that, if that's your kind of thing. If not, then ta-ta. So I'm going to pass things over to my players so that they can give their introductions, say any opening words that they would like, tell you where you might be able to find them on the internet, and then I think we're going to kick this ball down the hill. All right. So first up, we have Kenya.
I always get nervous when I go first on these things. Hey guys, Kenya, Isserson. You can find me on my channel, where I run my game weekly and then randomly do other stuff. And then every other Friday, I do Westocalypse with Cole, so that's fun. And then you can also find me over on Jarl DM's channel for an amazing Isloft game, first Monday of every month, except for this coming month, because things. But anyways, I'm so excited to be back in here. This game has the weirdest time, dilation effect for me. It takes forever to get to the next game, but then once we're here, it lasts for 5 minutes, and then it's another year before we play. It's a whole thing. I love this game so much. I am playing Vera tonight. She is the human bard, and um, she is extremely agitated with the situation that's going on because the brothel that she runs, the Justicaros were there interrogating her. Um, and all because of someone else in the group who uh, apparently has murdered someone, and now we're all being framed for it. So she's very, I mean, we might just have to just turn him over and just be done with it to clear our own names tonight. So we'll see what happens.
I cannot wait. All right. Next up, we have Matt.
Hey everyone, I'm Matt. I run a channel called A Fistful of Dice, and I make RPG books with Absolute Tabletop. And tonight, as always, I am playing Loxley LaCroix, who is tonight. He's just out for revenge twice over. He's looking to finish something that started a long time ago.
And we'll have to see how that goes as well. God, I cannot wait. This so many threads. All right. Next up, speaking of so many threads, we have Im.
That was a perfect segue, I think. That was great. Hi everyone, I'm Em, and I'm Dice on Ice everywhere else, and just very exciting. We just finished our part one of our Curse of Strahd finale, a 3-year-long campaign where we played with 7 players yesterday, which was insane and great, and I loved it. So looking forward to the finale. And I will be playing Sylvie Levine, who has gotten herself, I was trying to come up with a sewing pun, but my brain is just Wednesday brain. So, but I'm still very, very excited to play. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah, again, everybody has so much stuff going on, and I cannot I cannot wait to see how some of these things play out. Yeah. I meant to ask about how the campaign went last night. You had messaged about 7 players at once, which is intense, especially online. So I'm glad to hear that it went well. All right, next, speaking of going well, we have Austin.
Well, I hope things go well for Guillaume tonight, because they haven't been going super great so far. I'm Austin. I'll be playing Guillaume, the idiotic disaster of the group, who's also really smart, but is just not with it at the moment. Things aren't falling his way. I'm really excited to get into this. Oh boy, I don't think I have anything to plug because I don't do stuff. I play on Jeremy's games mostly. That's about where I am, and I'm pretty happy with that. That's the perfect amount, because that's about the time I got. And if you're gonna play with the best. Speaking of the best, let me help turn it back over to Jeremy to turn it over to Karen. Segwayed.
Damn.
That was slick.
Yeah, my segue just slipped right out from underneath my feet there. That was great. Well, I mean, on to you, Karen.
Aw, you guys are awesome. I'm Karen. I'm also known as Myth and Gears on all the socials, and I'm very excited to be playing this game again. Usually I'm playing Cameron Diego Ruiz Gonzala, but tonight I'm going to reprise the role of Solana de Cagrones. And with that, let's play!
Absolutely. All right. I think that's all of the business that we need to cover. So I think we're ready to start then. Oh, let me check and make sure that I have the right thing brought up on the other side. Who is this amateur? Okay. I got it. All right, here we go. It has been said that honesty is the best policy. Honesty and truth are the foundation stones of trust. It is how one builds community and fellowship. The truth, they say, can set you free, because it removes the chance for someone else to reveal your truth on your behalf and burn away the web of lies that you may have spun. But perhaps the harshest truth of all is that no one, not one single person in all of Gerdessi society, has ever reached the top by practicing this policy of truth. Instead, the truth becomes a weapon, a way to separate and hold on to power. There are those who understand what is true, and those who do not. We rejoin the five of you, or five of you, I guess I should say, in the court that surrounds the Fountain of Rainbows. Gathered around a small boy of 12, 13, who just barely was brought back from the brink of something. It's difficult to say exactly what might have happened, but following a severe bite from one of the were-rats who had attacked Lox and Guillaume, it's probably a safe bet to assume that he may have been turned. Thankfully, Sylvie stepped in with quick thinking, used the purported mythical properties that the Fountain of Rainbows possesses, and managed to save this boy. Two of the three were-rats were killed, slain, and their bodies still lie in the street. The third, however, was held fast by a spell that was slung by Vera, and shortly after, he was bound by ropes. So, that is where we are going to begin. Some of you are pulling along this were-rat who's bound with ropes. The others are gathered around Bolso. Where do we find each of you? What are you up to?
I believe right now Solana is cradling the boy while looking at Sylvia, hoping this wish will succeed. And I think that's exactly where she's at still, there, hoping that everything will be fine and waiting for the boy to kind of maybe wake back up again. And she looks up to Sylvie, and behind the really fine, delicate black mask that she always wears, you can see that her eyes are teary, and she's just looking at you, Sylvie, with hope, going, "Did it work?"
Think, yeah, Sylvie is quiet for just absolutely without words at this point, just taking in what had happened today with the party and the showing and all of that, and then what happened with Lox and the rats, and it's a lot has happened. And then just on top of all of that, seeing this poor child who Sylvie had scolded not a few moments before now, and Sylvie just can't stop but saying words in a language, Solana, that maybe you haven't heard or haven't heard at least Sylvie speaking it. I don't know if you would know the language, but it's different, and Sylvie just keeps repeating the same word over and over again.
What language is it?
Oh no. I knew you were going to ask that, and yet I still wasn't prepared. Jeremy, what would where Sylvie is from, what language would they speak there?
So it is from the kingdom of Vicaril, but they actually speak a language called Divinian, which is kind of like the common trade tongue.
You said Divinian? Is that what?
Divinian,
Okay.
Davenian, Divinian. It's the kind of Greco-Roman kingdom of the world, empire.
Okay, Solana could speak Vicarilian, so would it be kind of like a dialect that she'd maybe understand, but not really?
The Vicarilians had a language of their own, like long ago, but it was lost whenever the Divinian Empire kind of came in and took over. Vicaril is where Beneath the Banner Shadow takes place.
Yeah.
And so it's the same deal. Yeah.
Okay, so probably, so with Solana knowing Vicarilian, she could maybe understand, but not all of the modernizations that the language has kind of come through, potentially, maybe.
Yeah, that's what Sylvie is just saying, just that word over and over again as she looks on.
I think once the were rat is wrapped up in the fabric and stuff and is starting to get pulled into Sylvie's shop, Vera is she's glancing back at the fountain to make sure that the boy is okay and kind of just gauging how the other two are reacting on what the possible situation is. But her major concern right now is getting everybody off this street since there was just a fight and a commotion. And so she's pulling everyone into Sylvie's shop as she can, and she's trying to I don't know if there's like big fabric curtains that hang over the windows and stuff, but she's pulling those down and getting everything waiting until all of the curtains are pulled before she starts to light any sort of major light source and stuff. She's trying to make it seem like it's as not interesting as possible.
Lox would have likely helped move the were-rat into the shop. He had dropped his rapier to the ground when he saw what had happened to the boy. And as he sort of roughly throws the bound were-rat to the ground on the floor of Sylvie's shop, he immediately just stretches his hand out and the sword manifests in his hand in like this sort of flash of like violet green light. And he would kneel down next to this were-rat and he would hold up the rapier to its face. And there's this like gleam to the blade. And he says, "The sword is silvered. So I want you to answer my questions. Because I promise you, I'm not going to use this blade to kill you."
Guillaume had helped bring in the were-rat and tie him up with a strip of cloth from Sylvie's shop, much to her chagrin. And so he is inside the shop. But seeing this, he's kind of staring at this and more shock than horror. Just like, what? No, Locks. There's bodies on the street. We got to get those. We have to get those out of view. I'll watch him, and he'll pull like his own dagger and just get down near him. Like I'll keep an eye on him. He's tied.
You see this like,
go ahead.
Sorry, there's like an initial like instinct for Locks to interrupt you, tell you no, keep on doing what he's doing, and you see that sort of fade from his face after a moment, and he eases out a breath and he hands you the hilt of this silver rapier, and you can see that his hand is trembling as he holds it out to you, and he says, just in case, I'll help with the bodies.
Guillaume will just nod and take it, and he'll lean in close to the were-rat as Locks turns to leave. Now, if you're not helpful, I won't stop him next time.
As if you could stop him.
It's outside in the courtyard. Just before you, Solana, enter the threshold of the shop, you hear a voice that calls out to you. A woman's voice says, Isabel? Isabel? Is it you?
Solana just continues to walk into the shop.
Within moments, the shop door reopens, and there, standing in the doorway, is an elven woman who is rather well dressed and looks almost frantic. She kind of throws the door open and looks around inside, and the expression on her face very quickly changes to confusion when she sees the man in ropes on the floor, or in torn up rags on the floor, and everybody kind of standing around somewhat threateningly. And she looks around the room, kind of meeting each of you in turn, with a shifting expression on her face, before her eyes kind of sweep back over to Solana. Isabel, it's me. It's Juanita.
Solana just kind of glances to Sylvia, then maybe help with the child. I'm afraid I don't know who you're talking about.
You don't. You're not. You're not Isabel.
No, I'm Solana.
This elf becomes very visibly embarrassed. The color kind of rises in her cheeks. Forgive me. I am so very sorry. I mistook you for someone else. The resemblance is, well, it's very striking. Please forgive me.
No worries. No offense taken. I hope you find who you're looking for.
I didn't know I was looking for her. Actually, what I came here for, I was told that I would find someone with tremendous talent here. This is the savoir-faire boutique? Yes?
Sylvie takes a deep breath. First though, Sylvie would like to make an insight check on Solana.
I was just waiting for a pause. I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah.
I was also
Okay.
yeah,
There's
Is
that
that
scarf.
And I, as a person, didn't want to interrupt, but I will say Guillaume at the first like pause in conversation would say, "Oh, we're rehearsing for a play."
She kind
That
of
thing back
nods.
where it came from also helped me.
Lux just busts out into song. Okay.
Out of 15.
I'm rolling. Oh, I rolled bad. 11.
Okay.
I also wanted to attempt to do detect thoughts on the woman at the door.
Interesting. Okay. Would you read that for me? The description of
Yeah.
that spell
Absolutely.
or ability, whichever it is.
It's a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
My target DC is 14. For the duration, you can read the thoughts of certain creatures. When you cast the spell, and as your action on each turn until the spell ends, you can focus your mind on any one creature that you can see within 30 feet of you. If the creature, 2, 3, don't worry about that. You initially learn surface thoughts of the creature, what is most on its mind at the moment, and as an action, you can shift your attention to another or attempt to probe deeper. If you probe deeper, the target must make the wisdom saving throw. So I get the surface information without having to make a roll, and then if I want to dig deeper and figure out what's going on, I can have you roll.
Okay. Okay. So you get surface thoughts of love, despair, kind of hope, and that same hope kind of being dashed. But some of this is intercut with glimpses of images. And the images are very much of like first person view of this person involved in very passionate lovemaking with someone who looks a lot like Solana. Some of these images have a third individual involved, a male elven individual.
I think I'm not going to probe any deeper because I don't want to set this woman off. So that's enough for right now.
Okay.
Sylvie, remind me what you rolled.
15.
15. And Vera, you got 11?
Yeah.
Okay, so both of you know Solana's lying. She is not telling the truth to this woman. Sylvie, you probably even pick up even more unease in Solana's bearing at this moment.
Yeah. I think it only though like takes a moment or two between Sylvie just but it definitely takes an extra beat of Sylvie looking at Solana before she turns to this woman and answers her question.
Right. She looks very confused.
Yes, oui, that is me. Did you want to talk outside? We don't want to interrupt and she
Play.
she
Yes.
stares darts at Guillaume, the actors.
She kind of nods. It's clear that she at least has picked up the bullshit about this being play rehearsal, if not the bullshit that Solana was laying. So she nods. Yes, perhaps that would be best.
Sylvie walks up and just kind of ushers her out of the store.
Okay, so you reach outside and she kind of stares back through the open door with, that kind of curious expression on her face before the door finally closes. Forgive me. I'm not from Alidalgo. I've come visiting to try to find out more about my poor nephew. But, of course, whenever I arrived, disembarking from the boat, I tore my dress, and someone recommended your shop to me, so I have come to see if perhaps you could fix it.
And Sylvie just nods. This woman is wearing, like in the picture, she's wearing armor, or is she wearing it?
Yeah, she's probably not wearing armor currently, but she has the bearing of someone who probably knows combat.
Okay.
She's wearing a dress, and it looks like she's carrying a bundle that you're guessing is likely the garment that she's referencing.
Great. Yeah, she looks, but of course I can fix it. And she holds out her hands. I will take it. And how fast do you need it to be fixed?
Oh, it will likely be a few days. My nephew was murdered, and I'm here to collect his body, so it may take some time. I'm going to try to find out on behalf of my husband more information about what happened. It's all very tragic. So you could take your time with it.
Sure, yes. I would be more than happy to fix it. It will be like new, and I am so sorry for your nephew.
Thank you. Very appreciated. What do I owe you?
As she looks at it and kind of, do not worry about the price now. I promise I do not charge much for just fixing, but I have to look at the damage before I can say a price. But and then she would give like a very reasonable price range of what it could be, of what she thinks.
Yeah, she readily agrees. She agrees with the kind of lack of haste that a person with money can whenever a price is named. You can tell that it's not a concern how much it's going to cost.
And I do not. Is she wearing like mourning colors? Is that what? Is that something that's common here?
I don't know that she is. The dress that she handed you might be kind of more mourning colors. But yeah, she's wearing more like maybe reds, brighter colors.
Interesting. And sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Oh, forgive me. Yes, I am the Marquesa Juanita La Trompe. I am the wife of Arvenido. He is the Marquis.
I am so grateful that you came to my shop and that you were so greatly referred. I will get on this straight away. You have a wonderful evening.
Yes, thank you very much. And she kind of like looks back at the shop. Good luck with the play. She kind of says very obviously that's not what she was thinking. Before she kind of turns and, after another look towards the shop, finally makes her way off.
Sylvie, I do imagine there's this moment that Lox is like maybe carrying a body like into the main courtyard, like
up behind
Sylvie's
her.
facing him, the hack, and then Sylvie just like shakes her head.
Absolutely.
I think Lox is maybe coming around the corner and he's about to like start yelling like, why isn't anyone helping me? And then he sees you shaking your head and he's like, and he like goes back around the other way with the alley.
Yeah, Sylvie is going to is going to rush over to Locks. She like tucks the dress into kind of a belt or something that folds it in, and she would walk over and would try and help out Locks. And as she's doing so, that was someone whose nephew has just been murdered. A very wealthy nephew.
Wait, like a new murder?
Sorry, I need to look more into the people, but it is the guy, the nephew who was murdered, right? At Sylvie's shop, would I not know that?
No, not of the man murdered at your shop. So the nephew of the Marquise Altrompe is Ravido Bolero, who is the individual you guys found in the bathtub.
He's that tub guy. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so it's
Yeah.
not a
Other
new murder.
murder.
It's the other murder.
Well, this
Murder
might be
number
a good,
2.
This might
Yeah.
be a good time, just in case she like saw our, all our faces in the shop. I am still, I believe, disguised as a rather plain-looking
Yes.
person
Yes.
of Guillaume's height and general build, but with a different
Yep.
face.
I
So
believe so.
I think I have a little time left on that. Just want to make sure it is clear. She did not see my face holding a sword over any person. Not me at all.
So
Wonderful.
she knew Solana, right? Like very clearly.
And so Sylvie just like, I have to tell you something, and this may seem very insane. So Solana and I, we have a past, whatever. I do not want to get into it, not especially now, holding bodies. Anyway, I gave her a scarf. And I found that scarf in Chimerin's house. And then tonight, Solana was wearing the scarf and never said that she lost it. And now she is lying about knowing who this woman is. And the woman called her Isabel. She like just takes a step back, folds her arms.
And as Sylvie is explaining this, Lox has like gotten one of the bodies like up like on like a pile of crates or something, and he's kind of like leaning on it. Oh, that is a puzzler, isn't it?
It is very strange.
You said you and Solana have a past. You don't need to tell me anything you don't want to, but is this someone that you trust?
I did. Yes, very much so. She had a lot of secrets with her.
All right. I'll try and keep an eye on her too. Anything comes up, you let me know.
And it is just very odd. Where is Chimeran in all of this, you know?
Yeah, I've been wondering that myself. We should maybe try and find him, yeah?
He could be in danger.
Yeah. He probably is.
Of one kind or another. Sylvie just
Well, all right. So, and Jeremy, I'm just like looking for like a place to just because remind me when we killed the were rats, they were giant rats, but they turned back into people when we killed them, right?
They did. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Damn. Okay. So I'm thinking like on top of some crates with a tarp thrown over them, like just somewhere where they won't. I'm planning on trying to figure out what to do with this shit later, but like basically just so someone walking by won't notice them.
Sure. Yeah, there's lots of kind of really narrow alleyways and stuff in Al Hidalgo because there's not really a lot of streets. There's a lot of like footpaths that lead to places, so you could certainly find something like that that's somewhat out of the way.
Cool. I might even find a body while I'm doing this. Who knows? There might be already
There's a
one
good chance
there.
in Al Hidalgo.
Yeah. Just like, oh, perfect. But no, I'll find a good spot here to hide them. Corpse disposal and just make sure they're hidden.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they sorry, one last question. I don't think we inspected these bodies. Do they have anything of note other than like the weapons they were carrying? Anything in their pockets or anything like that?
They might have coin purses that have a couple of loose coins in it, probably mostly copper pieces. There might be a gold piece or two. You do not, however, find any silver on them.
Naturally. Okay. I'll go ahead and take their coin purses. Fuck them. I'll give the coin to the kid for his troubles.
Okay. He's very happy with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to. I think as soon as this elf woman and Sylvie kind of go outside, and while they're out there talking and stuff, as soon as the door shuts, I think Vera kind of very slowly turns and looks at Solana and just crosses her arms and just. And what was that?
What do you mean? I have no idea.
I don't know who you are. I don't even know why you're involved. I don't know why we should even be trusting you. As far as I'm concerned, you could belong out there with those bodies we've left in the street. But
I have no idea what's going on here. I came for a feast, a party of Sylvie's, because I am a very, very good friend of Sylvie's. And I came here to support her. And of course, to see the wonderful things she does. Whatever happened outside, that is not me. That is all you. I don't know what's going on. I'm just glad the kid's okay. And as soon as Sylvie comes back, I think...
Do you always talk this much when you lie?
I don't even know. What are you talking about?
That woman just walked in here. You acted like you didn't know her. You were
don't know
blatantly
her.
lying. She was giving me some very vivid images of you two in bed.
Excuse me, what? I did not see any of that.
Excuse me, what? And Guillaume like finally
And she
looks
looks
up
like-
from the rat. Like,
Go ahead.
Perfection.
Go ahead. Finish what you were saying, sorry.
that's all. He just looks up from the were rat for the first time. Like he's been trying to keep his head down and stay out of this, but like then he's like, I'm sorry, what? Excuse me?
She looks at Guillaume and she goes, I cannot even deal with you right now. Just watch the rat. If you're not involved in any of this, then leave.
I will. I said I was going to leave as soon as Sylvie came back.
You don't need to see Sylvie. Sylvie's got more important things to worry about than you.
Excuse me?
There are people dying everywhere. Things are just terrible. You should just go.
If Sylvie asks me to go, I will go. As far as I know, this is her shop, not yours.
Oh, it is her shop. Absolutely, it is her shop. It's not your shop either.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be giving me orders.
Oh, see, that's where you're wrong.
I'm afraid I outrank you.
You outrank me?
I do.
Okay.
I don't believe
explain
you
this
are a
ranking
noble.
system to me. I'm sorry, who are you?
And who are you? I should ask the same. What, a madam of a house? Please.
That's not really relevant at this point, but
It
yes.
absolutely is if you're trying to boss me around.
I'm just simply saying that maybe someone as noble as you, who is just so upstanding and looked upon by the lesser beings, perhaps you should just wander off and be away from all this horrible murder and these weird creatures and dying boys. And you just suddenly you appear at the shop tonight, you hang out with us, you run outside, get involved in a fight with us, and now you're here, and someone whose nephew was recently murdered in the city wanders in claiming to know you, and you lie very poorly.
So you believe a stranger?
No, I believe
who's
the fact
lying
that
about
you
me?
were lying. No, I believe the fact that you were lying.
About what? I don't know her.
About. Okay, dear.
I mean, I don't mean to butt in here. I apologize, Farrah, but I will say, I mean, you clearly knew her.
See,
it was really obvious.
You're a really
and I
bad
generally
liar.
don't pick up on those sorts of things. I'm usually really oblivious to them. But like,
And who
no,
are
you
you?
knew her.
Oh God.
Some actor doing a play. I can tell you very much that you are all lying about doing a play. I can tell so very quickly that this is one big freaking lie.
Well,
there's no
yes,
freaking play going on here.
You were clearly involved in us.
Because Sylvie ran out and was going to get hurt. I was there to help her and save her. I have no idea what you guys are into. I don't want to know what you guys are into. And frankly, as soon as Sylvie comes back, I am getting the heck out of this place because you people are insane.
I think at that point, Vera walks over the door and opens the door and looks out for Sylvie. Sylvie, darling?
Yeah, I imagine her and Lux are just like coming across the courtyard at this point.
Yeah, she your friend wants to leave but needs to say goodbye.
Sylvie looks leaving. All right, and she like hurries towards the door to go inside.
As soon as you come in, Solana is going to kind of not accost you, but she's going to kind of grab you and pull you aside. I have no idea what you're involved in here. Apparently it's way more than what I signed up for. I probably shouldn't be here and I probably shouldn't be seeing any of this, but your secrets are safe with me. I won't say anything about what's happened here. I promise. You know you can trust me. But I think maybe I should leave because that one, and she kind of subtly points to Vera, is a little bit of a hothead, and I'm not going to deal with it anymore.
Yes, Vera is a good friend, Solana. She is only worrying about what is happening. She doesn't know who you are. We just fought rats. It's kind of understandable to have a strong reaction. But I know you won't say anything or tell anyone. I know. But you see, we are missing a very dear friend to us. He was supposed to be with the others, Lux and Guillaume, and he did not show up.
Is she upset about that and taking it out on me?
Very well could be. I don't know. I'm not sure. But once this is all over, I would really like you to stay. Please. And she puts a hand like on your arm and squeezes it. I will make sure that Vera doesn't accost you as harshly.
Are you sure? I don't know how much use I could be here.
Just by you she smiles, and just by you being here is of great benefit to me. You helped save the boy. And that is a great thing that you did.
And when you mention that again, her voice kind of catches in her throat from what you've just said. Well, that is enough for me. I will stay.
Sylvie smiles. Thank you.
But you must tell me, what is going on?
Oh, it is a long story. I promise I will tell you everything when all of that, and she kind of gestures into the room, is done. And after I make sure that there is no blood on any of my fabrics.
Maybe I can help with that. At least move them, tidy up this place, because she's looking where Guillaume is probably was searching for the thing to tie him up with. Let me help you with that.
Guillaume,
And then she'll go off there too.
Have you been watching this exchange happen at the door after that conversation kind of got your attention?
Halfway, I would say. Like, he's trying to watch. He's watching the were-rat. He's trying to listen to the conversation, but keep his eye on the prisoner.
Okay. As you're kind of watching this were-rat, this man kind of is somewhat struggling against the bonds, not in seriousness, since you're standing right there. Excuse me, but at some point when your eyes do drift for a moment, maybe it is with that conversation turning to the bed, you hear that sound again, that bones kind of starting to snap. You can see that his body is starting to change shape.
Guillaume is just going to shove the tip of the sword, of the silvered sword, just like a quarter inch, half inch into his flesh, just into the flesh of his belly, about just hoping that silver might interrupt this.
Yeah, he kind of hisses as this blade kind of sticks him and causes a small amount of sizzling where you have stabbed him, but he continues to change all the same, and soon he kind of withdraws into the straps of material.
Guys, and he's getting smaller, he's going full rat, it seems, like little rat. Well, we can't let him go. Shut the door. And he'll just kind of scream out to everyone else, he's changing.
Locks, if he's made it inside, will slam the door behind him and move to where rat is to help Guillaume.
Okay. You begin to make your way over there, and very quickly you can see that the straps of this fabric are no longer kind of keeping their shape. They're kind of starting to collapse in on themselves, and you can hear squealing, the sound of a rat, as a decent-sized rat, probably the size of a kitten, comes kind of shooting out of one side of this fabric and kind of making its way towards the back door of the shop.
Can I? Go ahead, Austin.
Okay. Well, Guillaume will give a wave of his hand, and cast an illusion. I think I can do this. Yeah, cast oh no, actually, he's gonna. Shit, I'm sorry. This seemed like a good idea. Then I realized
you're good.
it was
You're good.
not. So you go for it. You
okay.
So you said he was heading toward a door, Jeremy?
Yeah. There was a back door to the shop
Okay.
where some side conversations had happened earlier, I believe. And that's kind of where he's headed for.
I will mage hand the door closed.
Oh, excellent. Very cool. Okay. So yeah, he's kind of skittering that direction in a hurry. And all of a sudden, the door... Is your mage hand visible at all?
Yeah. So I imagine that it actually kind of... It just looks like a sort of a just like a thrust of force that is sort of like edged with these almost like spectral looking feathers. These like feathers just sort of like sort of plume out, and the door just goes closes.
Excellent. It slams home in its frame, and the rat, as it's kind of like leaving this trail of blood from the fabric kind of towards the back door, all of a sudden changes tact as the door shuts and kind of starts heading along the wall towards the corner of the room where there's some furniture that it hopes, be able to hide behind.
If possible, I'd like to try to cast Hold Person on it again.
Excellent. Oh, this raises a really interesting question.
I've had this thought in my brain mentally before I asked you, and I was wondering if we were going to have this debate because...
Oh, damn. Does
as a
lichen...
were-rat...
That's why I didn't. That's why I didn't cast it. I was like,
does a lichen
Is
count
that
as a person whenever it's changed? That's a really interesting question. I have not come across that before in D&D that I can recall. Huh.
I mean, I'm going to obviously say yes, but...
Okay.
But I'm just thinking, because it still is...
Where is the...
It's still itself. It doesn't actually... It's not like polymorph where it turns into the creature and gets all of the creature... Like, if I polymorph something and then tried that, I'd say, no, that would fail because it's literally a turtle or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Right. I want to read the thing and see what it says as far as...
definitely.
Hang on. Into a rat human, a hybrid, or a giant rat. Any equipment it is wearing. Oh, wait. Its statistics, other than its size, are the same in each form. So it still is a humanoid, I would say.
Nice.
Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, Hold Person on it, please. Wisdom 14 saving throw.
Okay. And I think his stats are actually different. So I think he's got the wisdom of a rat right now, which is probably not great. Although of the animals, it's probably actually pretty good.
Well, there she is. Sorry,
it's a fake rat. Chill out.
It's okay, Scoopers.
Wisdom. Yeah, 0. Okay. What did you say your save was again? Oh, it's Knuckle Man.
14.
Yeah, he got a 5.
Sweet. So, Vera kind of does what she did in the alleyway with them, and she just takes her hand and like kind of flings it out. And she's like, ugh, vermin, and she just paralyzes it. Maybe I'm almost imagining kind of as the door slammed shut and it did like one of those crazy little rat like backwards jumps, like maybe it bounced off the door and jumped up, and she like suspends it in midair, and it's just kind of like paralyzed, hanging there.
Absolutely. Once again, this were-rat has found himself kind of in the grips of your arcane spell, and has been paralyzed and kind of falls to the ground inert.
How long can you hold him like that?
For about a minute. Find something to wrap him up with.
I want to let him go, and I will only do so with the permission of all of y'all. I want him to go get Luke and tell him to come find me. That's the only way we finish this.
Do you have a specific time and place you'd like to meet?
I do. Yeah.
I don't know. What does everyone else think?
Guillaume will study Lox's face for a minute, just to see, like, he's kind of seems to be studying like how intent is he on this happening, and he can tell that he's pretty resolute. So, all right, if Lox thinks it'll work.
Well, if everyone's all right with it, that's what I think we gotta do to not have were-rats coming after us for the next few days, on top of all the other shit we got to deal with. Right. Lox goes over to the were-rat. Right. I know you're going to be running back to your boss. That's what I want you to do. I want you to go back to Luke, whatever the hell you guys call him, and I want you to tell him that we can square up where he took my eye. You'll know what that means.
The rat gives no sign of responding, as of yet, at least.
Farrah's going to... She's going to look up at Lox. Are you sure?
I'm never sure about anything, but I think this is the easiest way for my shit to not blow back on all of us. I don't want anyone else getting hurt.
So tomorrow night, we should give him a time.
Yeah. Tomorrow night.
Okay. She's going to reach out, and before she releases the rat from the paralyzed, she's going to cast a level 1 cure wounds on him and heal up his wound in his gut.
Okay.
So he'll get 9 hit points back as she heals him, and then she's going to release the paralyzed from him.
As your healing magic takes place, you can see the wound kind of begin to knit and heal. The bleeding stops, and you can still very visibly see a pretty nasty scar, though it's much smaller than a sword blade, because at this scale, when you shrunk down, the wound was much smaller. But there's a very noticeable scar. It almost looks more like a brand, or like a burn, where it's like proud of the skin, it sticks away.
Does it have like a particular, since you said like a brand, is it a brand? Does it have a shape? Is it a symbol of some sort? Or is it just
No. It's just a straight
Okay.
line, like the width of a, well, it wouldn't be the width of a blade, but essentially just like what a blade would have left behind. Just it's raised from the skin, because this weapon very, very much kind of burns lycanthropes. So, as the paralytic magic kind of wears off, he's able to start twitching his whiskers first, and then you see his little toes kind of starting to move. Eventually, he is able to kind of get his feet underneath of him, and he kind of cowers against the wall for a moment. And then when it looks like nobody's going to do anything about it, he moves to the front door.
I'll open the door for him.
And out he goes, and very quickly finds a place to duck into and disappear.
So Lox, there's no way that this Luke is gonna come and fight fair, so we're gonna need to set up a little bit of unfair for ourselves. Where
Yeah.
do we need to go?
This happened across town. There's a old cobbler shop out there. Used to be one of the drops. And that's where it happened. That's where he'll find me.
Just real quick, Matt, how much have you told our characters about your history with Luke? Not much, right?
So
I wasn't here for the
No.
duel episode.
Yeah. I think the only thing that I told everyone was that I was like an orphan on the streets, pickpocketing. Luke and I kind of ran in the same circles. And he beat me up one day and ended up taking my eye when I was a kid. And I think that's the only thing that everyone is like aware of.
Okay. Yeah. Then Guillaume would say, listen, I know you don't like to talk about it, but can you tell us why he's holding such a grudge against you? I mean, if anything, you should be the one with the grudge. You're the one with the scars.
Well, he has some too. After Luke took my eye, I kept learning, training. Figured I needed to be able to defend myself from people that were bigger than me, at least for a little while. Eventually, I sought him out. I had a blade this time, and I paid him back.
Well, I guess you two are fair then, and he's just coming after you being a reckless fool. So he'll kind of hand this sword back to you. You can tell that it's far too heavy for him. Like he was just letting like the weight of the sword cut into the were-rat rather than actually poke him.
Dropped it onto him.
Yeah, he's like he's doing his best not to drag the tip along the ground as he like hands it back to you.
The weight of it suddenly leaves your hand as it kind of like magically, ethereally goes back into his hand, and he stuffs it back into the sheath.
Yeah, he does a quick like look down at his hand, like, okay.
So I think at this point, Vera would probably just look around at everyone, and she'd look over at Solana and Sylvie. Is she going to leave, or is she now part of this wonderful mess?
Sylvie looks to Vera and just, have you seen Chimeran?
No, we need to find him.
Sylvie nods. I am worried about him.
Yeah, me too. He was with us for several days and then has suddenly disappeared. So either something has happened to him, or he was smart and got away from this mess while he could.
Chimeran getting away from a mess? Not likely.
So I take it she's staying and now part of this?
Sylvie just nods once.
I think at that point she'd turn to the rest of the group and say, so the Justicaros were at the Castillo when I was there earlier. They showed up about 20 minutes after I arrived. And when Gabriella decided to have them leave for me, they absolutely knew I was in the building and threatened to shut me down if I didn't speak with them. So at this point, go ahead.
Oh, go for it. Finish.
Go for it.
Well, I spoke with my father, and I think I have some idea why the Justicaros might have been speaking to you as well. It looks like someone's trying to pin Ravito's murder on me. I think I know who. I think she was in this shop.
She said, "Oh, yes, I'm well aware that your father is extremely what was the words that were used? He is extremely disgusted with the actions of his useless son, I believe is what they told me he said.
Alleged actions of his allegedly useless son. I didn't do any of you. You were with me. We discovered the body together.
Oh, that's the unfortunate part. I was with you, and I was seen gallivanting across the rooftops with you. And so they were questioning me as to why, and I told them they must have been mistaken. I would not ever willingly, well, I told them the truth. I can't stand you, and so why would I ever do anything to help you cover a murder?
Why do you think I would? What reason would I have to kill Ravito?
I'm not even saying that you did. I don't necessarily believe that you did. I think it was too skilled of a kill for someone of your caliber. But
thank you. Wait. No.
My point is that your shit is now rolling down and affecting mine. I'm half tempted to just suggest we hand you over to them and let them figure it out for you.
Good group of friends I've found myself. Good, trustworthy people. Glad you have my back. You know...
Oh, speaking of backs, while I had the Justicaro on hers, she did inform me that she's no longer in charge of the case anymore. Would you care to know who is?
Enlighten me, Vera.
That cat. She's in charge of everything. I'm
Clearly.
so sorry. She's so loud.
Doesn't bother me.
What was the name of the head guy? Not the Padre.
Yes.
I can't find him on the list. There's so many people.
Capitan Rocatore.
Capitan Rocatore. Okay, so Capitan Rocatore. The Padre's right hand.
Yeah, his eyes will go pretty wide at that. Well, shit.
One of many thoughts that went through my mind at that point. Solana,
You're saying this out loud so like all of us can hear, right?
Yeah, we're having an open conversation. Yeah. You're in it now.
So as soon as you talked about the Padre, I think like Solana's reached out and grabbed and is tugging on Sylvie's like sleeve. What has these people gotten you into? A murder? Justicaro's? What is going on?
Well, technically 2 murders, but
2 murders.
Well, counting the rats, I think we're up to 4 or 5 now.
But we only did the rats.
Yes.
Yeah, the rats were the only ones that we actually murdered. The 2 of them. Yep.
She looks over at Solana and she says, I gave you a chance to leave.
And she just she kind of glances at Vera at that, like, you're trying to be nice now. And she goes back to Vera, goes back to Sylvie. I stayed for you. What? I deserve to know what's going on.
The truth is, I don't think we really know what is happening. This is all unfolding as we figure things out.
Right. We've been stumbling from one disaster to another without much of a clear idea of where we're going. And when we did try to gather information, we ended up at a murder scene. So it hasn't gone, fantastically well.
And then we fled that murder scene, and I found a guy who took my eye a few decades ago, and then he sent the were-rats to kill us. So that gets you about up to speed then. That's what's been going on. We've just been one step ahead of a bunch of bullshit for a few weeks now.
Well, I don't know if she's up to speed yet because remember there was also the masked assassin with the poison dart during the
Oh
fitting.
man, yeah,
The
that feels
assassination
like a
of the.
long time ago.
I know it was just a few days. It's been a busy week, Solana. Listen, you're showing up here during a very complicated time in our lives. That's all I'm going to say. But let's see. After he was murdered, then we were at the
Funeral.
funeral, and things went poorly there as well, and we ended up getting into a bit of a conflict. You're a little closer to caught up now. I think. Also, there seems to be some sort of ancient evil that is threatening all the town and all the people of Valadalgo. So there's that as well that seems to be emerging. But we don't know too much about it. And some rings. There's some rings floating around that we need to figure out. We've got a lot on our plates, but really, my personal goal in the next, let's say, 12 hours before we start really in earnest setting up for hopefully ambushing this Luke fellow, it would be to clear my name of the murder that I am accused of, because A, I did not do it, and B, it's going to cause a lot of trouble if we're being hunted by Justicaros for a murder that I did not commit. And I'd just like to reiterate one more time, it would have really been nice if any of you had said that I wasn't the kind of guy that would do that. It sounds like the character witnesses are really excellent going forward. So thank you.
What Guillaume missed was we went to a funeral. There was a funeral that we went to, and shit happened there. And there was a knight made out of stained glass at one point that was stabbing us, and
that would have been so cool if he wasn't actively trying to murder us. It was beautiful, like the stained glass, really gorgeous stuff. But the stabbing seemed to kind of cut into the beauty. I made a pun.
Solana's eyes are darting from one to the other as you guys are talking in this like super quick montage of how things are going, and she keeps going back and trying to catch Sylvie's eye, and then Guillaume says another fantastical thing, and you can just see her eyes widen and widen and widen until she just kind of flops on a chair that just happens to be right there behind her, of one of those sitting chairs you have in your store. This is also overwhelming. Is this part of the play?
That depends. Do you still want to be involved in it? If the answer is no, then it's definitely part of the play, and we need
probably
to continue
a murder
our rehearsal.
mystery of some sort that takes place in maybe a large mansion somewhere.
She looks up to Sylvie like, what do you want? Basically is what she's saying with her eyes. Like,
Sylvie shrugs and looks. It is up to you. You have helped a lot. But then she kind of, she turns to Guillaume. Lavinia, I had the chance to speak with her. Well, there are rumors about her that she doesn't come out during the day very often anymore. She does not eat a lot.
You can see Guillaume's face just sinking at this. I don't think he's shared any of the knowledge he's gained. He hasn't had time to share any of what he's learned about the threat they're facing. And hearing this is devastating. Like, just you're imagining that that you just heard that your high school bully just like got Superman powers.
And there was something wrong with her teeth.
Her face was covered also by like a large hat, wasn't it? Yeah, she had a large.
No, that was
Didn't
the Contessa lady.
I thought
blackness.
I thought Lavinia had a big hat on too, but the Contessa lady had the weird magic.
Yeah, Lavinia had a veil.
Okay,
That she
a
was
veil,
wearing
I'm sorry.
before she came in. But yeah, the big-hatted lady was. She is a consigliera and a condessa, so she's a countess.
She is coming back here, Lavinia.
For a fitting, yes.
Yes.
When?
I don't, did we set a time and date?
I'm
I don't
sure
think
you
we did. I think. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Sylvie will just say when we had a fitting. She was very interested on speaking, on being not in a party situation, but alone.
That's worrisome. I wouldn't have that meeting with her alone if I were you. If what you're describing is accurate, we may be in even more trouble than we already thought we were. And he's just without me doing it, he's gonna kind of share the general knowledge gained from the vampire research. And I'm imagining Solana hearing the word vampire come out for the first time is probably shocking. He says, so vampires, here's what I've been able to gather. And he's just going to launch into this like almost professorly lecture, like trying to be like concise, but probably he's going to talk for like, 10 minutes or so, just telling you guys everything he can about like what he knows. So hopefully that's equivalent to sharing that page with you guys so you can look at it yourselves. But it's not good is kind of how he wraps up. If Lavinia is one of these things, and she's the one framing me, which the note really seems to indicate, we're in a deep canal.
But is this not the way to clear your name? Is through her? She obviously knows something, and she has something to do with the rats war.
Seems like she must.
Wait, rats war?
Oh, right. We didn't mention that part. We met the Saint of Rats, the leader of an underground coven of were rats. Is it a coven? A swarm? Would you call it
a nest?
A nest? Yeah, not a murder.
It was
That's
more
gross.
like a gang, like they were like a crew.
I do believe a murder
A
is
mischief. A mischief of
ravens.
rats. I love that.
But the were rats we just fought were not affiliated with that person.
No, they seem to be in conflict with the leader of the were rats.
Yeah, there's a division.
There seems to be a bit of a factional dispute among the were rats.
You can see that Solana's trying to talk, and every time she goes to say something, she just kind of stops and like, no, because anything that she's about to ask sounds crazy in her mind. So eventually she just kind of stops and collapses like even further, like slouching in that chair going, oh.
I think Vera looks over at Sylvie and is just like, really? Is she going to be useful at some point?
Sylvie just looks and shakes her head. She's looking at Guillaume, trying to figure out we have been asked to get rid of the other group. Somehow stop them. They have something to do with Lavinia. Your murder has something to do with Lavinia.
Did Did the saint when we were asking about those rings, I can't recall. Did he say that he thought the other faction of rats was responsible for them, or he just didn't know? Because it's clearly Lavinia's mark on the ring.
I believe he said that they're being made somewhere and sold at reasonable prices so that people can get them.
So it sounds like maybe Lavinia has something against the rats too, because if she's mass producing silver weaponry and trying to get it into the hands of the populace to try to take down the were-rats, it's definitely her. That's her mark. It was on the letter, it was on the ring. She's responsible for this.
Which rare rats is she against? If you say they are fighting.
Maybe
I
both.
I assume she's against the Saint of Rats, because wasn't it one of the competing ruffians of the other mischief that were using that ring?
Mm-hmm. It was the guy that Lox was fighting, had the ring on him.
Scoundrel.
So the other thing I wanted to point out is, does anyone else find it particularly interesting that the man who died in Sylvie's shop over there, vomiting up silver
What?
coins?
It happened here in this shop?
I said it was during a fitting. And he's just like exhausted with having to continue explaining these things. Like, yes, we've already covered this. Right, it was silver.
Yes,
And
he was vomiting silver.
And he was of the House of Coin. There's
Right,
got to be a connection.
But remember when we went to the funeral, we found out that there was a lot of contention in the family, and he was the one who was most adamant about the grandson, I believe it was, not being brought back into the family. And the number one person who was supporting that happening was the Padre. And now my lovely Justacaro has informed me that she's been removed from your case, which is tied in with all of this silver death murder stuff. And she's being replaced by the Padre's right hand. So why does the Padre keep coming up in this situation as being the connection for all of these things?
You can't seriously be suggesting that the Padre Primero is behind this.
Wait, go
Guillaume-
back. Rocatore is on Guillaume's case now.
Yes.
Oh right,
That's
you
what
weren't there
my-
for that part.
No,
Shit.
that's what my Justacaro told me. Yes.
That's not good. That's not good at all.
No, she's been removed from the case, and she says that she's getting the impression it's just because she's not experienced enough to deal with a case this high profile. But Guillaume is not that high profile.
Excuse me, I am the son of a Viscount. I have a fairly reputable position in the community and in the theater. And who am I kidding? No, you're right. It's not high enough priority. It doesn't make any sense that he would be involved.
No. So why does the Padre care about the case? Why does the Padre care if some random grandson of a family is shunned or not? And then the one person objecting to it is now dead? In the past 5 days, we've learned of were-rats, vampires, and we've seen multiple murders. We've, found out there was a complete underground city. Adding the Padre being involved in this is not that far of a stretch.
Oh, right. And he'll turn towards. I'm blanking on the name now. So
Solana.
Solana, thank you. He's gonna turn to Solana. Right. So the assassin that killed the to-be Viscount in Sylvie's shop, we chased him. He turned out to be a man in an iron mask. He stabbed Locks in the belly. That was a close call. But it seems like there's some sort of secret society of masked assassins. I don't think we covered that part.
I'm blanking. Sorry. Did we learn anything additional about them while we were in the Rat City place?
Anything additional about whom?
The men in the Iron Mask, that Iron Mask faction.
No, I don't think so. I don't know that
I
they
did
were
learn-
asked about.
Didn't
I did learn one other thing. I in my research I did find one other reference to an iron masked individual. There was at one time a prisoner around 100 years ago, kept in an iron mask for anonymity. And he'll name the prison that it was in. It's not too far away. It's in like outside a nearby town.
I don't. Sylvie wouldn't have known this, obviously, but just for my sake, for Guillaume, didn't his dad have a really bad reaction to when he mentioned the Iron Mask people?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Like,
maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Told Guillaume that they could get him out of the city if he wanted to go right now.
Yeah, and Guillaume will also share that. Just my father was less than calm when I asked him about this group. He suggested some rather extreme means, such as squirreling me off out of the city under the cover of darkness, never to return. So apparently there's someone that we need to be wary of.
What if
someone? Why on earth did you not take your father's offer up on this? It seems like the most sane thing to do. If all of what you are saying is true and you're not just trying to, and she's looking at Sylvie with intently, to put something over my head as like a wool sack as this a big hazing prank, then why the hell are you still here? Why didn't you run from the hills?
If you had seen my house, you would know. I can't leave that.
You stayed because of a house.
No, it's not just the house. It's I've got roots here, and here I'm rich. I don't think you understand. Like, my father, he's very rich.
But you have vampires and were-rats and padres and justicaros and masked men and I don't know who else, all coming after you.
Oh, don't forget his fiance too.
We are not engaged. She's a lovely young woman. I mean no disrespect, but she is a lovely young woman, and I am not interested.
The other thing is, and I listen, I know we shit on Guillaume a lot, man. It's great fun. But the thing to remember about him is that he's also, well, Guillaume tends to be loyal to a fault, and it often gets him into trouble.
A lot, it sounds like.
Oh, thank God. Finally, something nice said about me.
Guillaume, I know part of the reason why you're not leaving is because it's really scary to leave the city and be without your father's money and your father's protection. But I also know that you feel bad about the fact that we're all embroiled in this shit together and you don't want to leave us in the lurch.
I'm not going to run away. We can figure this out.
I know you're
not.
I
can figure this out.
We will. First, I got to kill Luke, and then we'll figure it out.
So here's a thought. What if we set up a plan so that we tip the Justicaros off on where he's going to be, but then as they're coming to get him, they see someone else who looks like him, walk by and we can kind of say, oh, it must have been a doppelganger of some sort or something. Like maybe we can just clear his name, that he couldn't possibly be the one that's doing these things because he wasn't seen at the murder of the man in this college. It must have been that other person. Just a thought. Some way to clear him and get them off his back. I don't know if it would work or not. Or we could go break into Lavinia's house and see if we can find any evidence that she's behind all of this.
I think that might be a very, very bad idea based on what she may be now, but I don't know.
I do
Well, those
know
are
that
my
she
two
will be out
ideas.
of the house at some point.
Perhaps in the middle of the night.
Well, she's due for a fitting,
A
correct?
fitting, Guillaume. At least I can keep up with that.
I'm sorry, Solana. I have a lot on my mind. I don't know if it's been mentioned yet, but I've been accused of murder.
And my daddy is very mad at me.
Is that something Vera would actually say? He is! He is! And it is very unfair, and I am very angry about it, if I'm being honest.
But at least you're rich.
I mean, not if I don't clear my name. I'm not exactly cut off right now, but he's told me that he can't really help me out of this.
Well,
And you can see that like Guillaume looks like a little like he's like actually gotten like a little vulnerable from this. Like he's like a little lost. He's like he can't help me. I'm completely on my own except for the friends I've been able to gather.
Listen, Guillaume, you don't want your dad involved in this anyway, and you know that. He's going to muck it all up and make it worse and then lord it over you for the rest of your life. This is something we can deal with on our own, and it's going to be okay. At some point, it has to be, right? Or we die. You know, those are the two options.
exactly.
It is a comforting thought.
I was just going to say you're either going to be back under in your father's money or you're going to be dead, and either way you're not poor and alone.
Thanks, guys. I needed that.
With that wonderful pep talk. I think maybe we want to take our break here. Yeah, okay. Give you guys about 10 minutes to dream up any more questions or things that you want to scare and shock the hell out of Solana with whenever we come back, and then we can figure out where we're going to go from there. This is so much fun. These characters are so horrible, but I love it. I'm here for it. All right, everybody, sit tight. We're going to be back in about 10 minutes, and we'll see you on the second half of Evermore le Masquerade. welcome back to the second half of this episode of Evermore le Masquerade. This is our D&D 5th edition campaign set in the world of Rostveen, particularly in the kingdom of Gerdes. Tonight's episode has been titled The Division of Truth so far. Really, really excited to get back into what we have for the second part tonight. It's been a fucking fireball so far. So if you're just joining us, then hold on, Buttercup, because I'm sure it's only going to get better. Lots of burn damage that has been handed out. So several dagger attacks that have happened. So I am sure that somebody might not make it out of this alive. We'll just have to see. Okay, so you are still gathered together. However, there is a stranger in your midst, or at least a stranger for some of you, who has been digesting the recount of what has befallen your group in a relatively short amount of time here recently. And for the recounting of which, I would like to add, all of you please take a point of inspiration, because all of you pulling on these dozens of strings leading off in all of these different directions, recalling all that information and bringing it back and making it relevant was incredible. Thank you. So we are still in Sylvie's shop. Chimeran is missing, and we are kind of going over what you know, what conjectures you may have, how it might connect, and potentially what might need to be done next. So as we rejoin the group of you at the shop, what is it that we find?
So what is our plan? I think Sylvie's like sitting, sewing, like fixing the dress from Juanita.
What did that Juanita woman say to you?
That she is here to look into her nephew's death.
Do we know who her nephew is?
Sylvie looks to Guillaume. It is Ravido.
Right. Of course. Of course.
So, it is a coincidence that as we're dealing with cleaning up everything that happened in the middle of this courtyard, this woman shows up to investigate.
She did say that someone recommended her to me, which is quite flattering. So I would prefer to think that it wasn't all in line, because it makes me feel better. But
Oh, maybe it was Isabel. And she points over at Solana.
We've been perfectly honest with you, and he'll air quote Solana. So if you could perhaps reciprocate a bit of honesty, that would be appreciated. Who was she to you?
No one.
Then I guess it was a play rehearsal, and
It
it's
sure was.
probably time for you to make your
Exit.
exit stage right.
Yeah, I mean, come on. We told you
Thanks.
everything.
It's been a pleasure. We appreciate you being our first live audience member.
Solana just looks at Sylvie.
yeah, at this you see no no support from Sylvie.
I came to a party because Sylvie invited me and she's looking at you. We are very intimate.
Was that the question that we just asked?
You asked who I was and why I was here. That is why I was here. I know nothing else. That woman is no one to me.
How about this? You're telling us the truth. You have nothing to hide, I assume. Let me probe a little further. I know a spell that will let me determine the truth of this. If you don't fight me, I'll just ask. I'll look for that one answer just to confirm that you're telling us the truth.
Sylvie, you would let them do this to me.
I'm curious as to why someone of such noble standing feels like they need to get protection from Sylvie. I mean, we're not. She's not. She would let She would let us do something to you. He's asking you to allow it. You can say no.
No.
Okay.
Can you, Guillaume? Can you really do? Can you do that?
I can, but it's easier if the person allows me.
Go for
and
it. Do it. Yeah, do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, hold on.
Just wait. Keep it.
Sure. I'll stay narrow.
Okay. All right.
And he's gonna go ahead and cast detect thoughts on Locks. So he'll start with just the surface thoughts and like whatever it is you're like just top of your mind. And he's thinking like bullshit. This is all bullshit. You think like there's no way that this works. He can't do what he's saying he can do.
Man, I wish I had some of those eggs from the party.
Just thinking about those eggs, it's like all of that with like a backdrop of just constant vengeance, just vengeance in the background and deviled eggs at the
Boy,
forefront.
I can't wait to stab Luke in the face.
Oh,
I'm
man,
gonna stab him so hard. I'm gonna
God.
stab him and cut his throat, and then I'm gonna eat some eggs. Those eggs are good. And just like that, it's just like rambling those surface thoughts, and then he's gonna like probe a little deeper, and at that you can start to feel it. Like you feel your mind like being like squeezed almost. But it feels like the kind of thing where like if it's like a Chinese finger trap. You feel like if you the more you fight against it, the more it feels like pressure. And if you start to release and like allow it in, it seems to like get a little easier. Do you allow it in?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the what is the thought that you would like him to have stumbled upon?
Oh shit! I should have thought about
this before he's gonna call it out loud to prove to you that it's true.
Okay. Okay. Give me 2 seconds here, really quick. I just have to check my notes to make sure I get the name right. Hang on. Okay, so. So I think you would see a can it be like images and stuff, or is it literally just like?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's cool. Just thoughts. So however you would think of Lux's thoughts, I'm guessing.
You would see this this estate, this like really beautiful, like sunbathed estate, this very like regal, expensive looking, but also like very old. Like the stone is very worn and sun-baked. And at the center of this like courtyard of this estate, there's this old olive tree growing. It's this beautiful old olive tree, and there are two figures in front of it dueling with swords, but they're like practice swords, and you can't quite see their faces. Like the faces are hazy, but then the smaller figure like looks right at you, and you see like young Lox's face, and then you're back.
You're muted.
But as he's watching this, he's just describing, the details that he can see. Like, oh, there's an estate. Sun is beaming down, and and he's just gonna go through just kind of basically what you described. And he goes, "Oh, it's you. You're so little."
And then as you say that, as the face kind of turns to you, Lox is actively resisting now, and he goes, "All right, okay, yep, that's enough."
Yeah, you feel like a moment of hesitation as he's like, there's this moment of like, oh, I could probe deeper. I could try to find out who Luke is really to him and why that's so. And then, but then he gets a grip of himself pretty quickly and recedes back, and you feel the pressure just kind of lift off of your brain.
Oh man, that was less fun than I thought it was going to be. If I'm honest.
Yeah, the problem with going deep like that and finding the real important things, they know. There's no way to keep someone from knowing that you've invaded like that.
Yeah.
Sorry if it was uncomfortable. I tried to be as gentle as I could.
It's all good. I now I know that I do not enjoy that, so we won't do that again.
Anyways, so go ahead.
I was gonna say, in that display and seeing how like Lox is like the uncomfortable feeling, Solana had just turned to Sylvie kind of when this is all happening, and it's just like, I will go if you want me to go, but there is something I want to talk to you first about without all these people.
Sylvie nods. I do think that this is probably best that perhaps you retire for the evening. I will walk you out. As
it was lovely to meet you, miss.
Our show opens in 3 weeks. Make sure you buy a ticket.
Yes, it was pleasant. Thank you.
She's very bad at lying.
As kind of Sylvie takes your arm in hers and walks you out, after a while of silence, I am sorry you had to hear all of that. But it was comforting for me, as strange as that sounds, to have someone hear it from the outside and realize how truly strange it is when you're in it, and when it's happening to you over the course of days. It builds up, and it doesn't seem as weird until you have to tell someone who hasn't heard of it at all, and then it's all were-rats and vampires, and then it puts things into perspective. So thank you.
Well, I now understand why you've been so distant and absent lately. You have so much going on. I'm glad I could be an ear for you, but there's nothing I can do to help. I have no pull with the Justicaros, with any of the things that I just heard about half the stuff for the first time tonight. But I do need to talk to you. Is there some place we could go that's safe?
Sylvie just shrugs. She's like, if you asked me a few days ago, I would have said my shop. But, there have been a death, a torturing, a very fabulous fashion show, but I will walk with you and we can talk. And she looks up, and I imagine it's probably like the dead of night. So she wants to kind of walk a little bit ahead. I guess the chateaus are the safest place for us.
All right. Let's go there.
And I think, yeah, we're gonna go to where I think maybe like Lox and Guillaume were like hiding across the way. So we would go back to there. And she would say, I know you cannot do anything, and I am not asking you to do anything. All I need is your understanding and your silence.
Oh, you
Your
have that.
discretion. I know.
You have more than that. I'm assuming we're inside the building now, right?
Mhm.
She would reach out and take your hands and find some place to sit down in there, if there's a bench or whatever. But she would place you so that we're kind of staring at each other, and she's holding your hands. It's almost like a death grip, really, like she's holding them really tightly. I did know that woman.
Yes, I know.
She is my sister. Well, half sister.
Okay. Sylvie doesn't make that reaction. Sylvie just does look very confused. You never mentioned half.
Because
sister.
I came to Alidago to hide. I changed who I was so that I couldn't be found. There's no way I could let her know that I was here, or word could get back, and he would find me. And if he finds me, he'll kill me. And her grip is like getting stronger and stronger, probably to the point where she's probably hurting you and she doesn't even know.
Yeah, Sylvie ignores it and she just looks back. Who, Solana, who is out to kill you? Tell me, please. Maybe we can help you.
My husband.
And who is your husband?
Probably the less you know, the better for you. So I won't tell you his name, but he is a vile man. He is a brute. He is a monster. He will step at no lengths to get what he wants. There's a reason I wear this mask and that I never take it off, not even for you.
You see Sylvie kind of looks confused, like looking at Solana's face.
It hides something. Something you can't see, but it's there nonetheless. It doesn't matter what I look like, where I go, who I pretend to be. If he finds me, if he even thinks that it's me, he's got me. And this mask is the only thing that's hiding me from him.
And your half sister, you think that she will tell him?
No, she loves me, but she thinks I'm dead. And if she goes back and even lets word of it that I'm not dead, her life is in jeopardy.
Oh, Solana, that is. And Do you think that she believed you when you said that you were not you?
I hope so. For her sake, I hope she believed. None of you did.
No, you did not do a very good job. I assume it was probably because you were caught by surprise.
I almost dropped the child when I heard her voice.
So then she just kind of put this point together in her mind. You can see the gears click. So are you also related to Ravido? Is that the half that you are related to as well?
I guess technically he would also be my nephew by marriage or so. I don't really understand. I mean, it's. I believe Ravido is her husband's side of the family. So I don't think we're really related. I don't know how all that works, but.
Did you know him?
No.
Well, appears as though we had more truths, secrets to reveal to each other. This is Sylvie. I'm sorry you had to go through all of this with back there.
I'm sorry I lied to you.
We all must keep secrets. If ourselves or those who we love are in danger, I understand.
I've probably now put you in danger.
No.
I'm sorry.
Add it to the list. Murderous husband, vampire, the Justacaro, the Padre. Like it. You know what is one more?
You're such an incredible person, Sylvie.
Listen, you probably don't want to be involved in this either. You seem you already have a lot on your plate. So you do what is best for you. I will make sure when she comes, Juanita comes back, I will make sure that if there anything comes up, I will try and ensure that she knows that the trail is lost.
And you can see that part of Solana really doesn't want that to happen, but also does. Like you can tell she's very conflicted. Like you can see that she wants very badly to see her sister, but also knowing that it's very dangerous. Can you just let me know? I don't know. Do what you can do and find out how she's been doing, and then let me know.
I will. Sylvie, you see, she like takes a necklace off that she has underneath, and you can see that there's a couple of keys on it. She takes one key off and she hands it to Solana. Here, this is the key to my shop. There is a storage room that is beneath some pieces of fabric. A very small little crawl space. If you're ever in trouble, if you ever need somewhere to go, here.
Thank you. Thank you, Sylvie. And she would take the key and then just almost like leap into your arms, like give you the biggest hug.
I think as you do so, she sees your neck and she sees the scarf you're wearing. I hate to ask, but while we are being honest, that scarf, do you know Chimeran?
Make an insight check. Can I say that? Make an insight check.
I just love everyone's like faces so close to the. I'm gonna use my inspiration. I want to know. That's an 18.
Okay, the pause and the look in her face, it's almost like you caught her off guard, right? It's too long. The pause is too long. And no. Oh, Sylvia, I just can't lie anymore. I'm Chimeran.
Sylvie laughs, but you can tell it's a very like uncomfortable, like just a reaction that some people have when a moment happens. Oh, well, that does make a lot more sense now that I think back. Oh my God, you are such an asshole. Sylvie just kind of takes a step back.
If you could keep that maybe under wraps, what I've told you tonight.
Yes, Solana, I will not tell a soul. I swear, I will not.
And I will only use this, and she's holding the key, if I really need to. But I think Solana must say goodbye to Sylvie for now. For both of our sakes.
And I think Sylvie would like at that kind of lean in for like a quick kiss before she gets up.
I imagine it's supposed to be a quick kiss.
Yeah.
But it turns into quite a longer kiss.
Mm-hmm.
As they're saying goodbye, I'm thinking.
Yes. So then eventually Sylvie stands up and, well, then I guess I will see you tomorrow.
And I think Solana is just going to sit there in that room and let Sylvie leave. And Solana will take her leave once Sylvie's gone.
Karen and Im, both of you, please take another point of inspiration. That was a fantastic scene. Very, very well played out. Incredible. Okay. So I think, unless there's anything else that... there was a scene that you asked about, Matt. You wanted to discuss.
Yeah. If what's his name? Bolso?
Mm-hmm.
If he's still around, I just want to have a moment with him. Lox kind of kneels down. You all right?
I think so. I'm not exactly sure what happened.
That's probably for the best. You're gonna be fine. I'm really sorry that happened, and it's my fault that it did. Shouldn't have gotten you wrapped up in my shit. But I'm gonna take care of it, and you don't have to worry about that happening again, okay?
Okay. What is going on? Why are there so many people dying around you?
I wish I could say that that's a rare, unique thing, but that really just has been my whole life, kid. So I'm not sure why I expected anything different here. That's why our business relationship is going to end here. And I hand over the 2 coin purses. Yours to divvy up as you see fit. That should keep you going for a while, yeah?
Yes, thank you. He kind of tucks them away, and he kind of like takes a step, like he wants to turn and kind of just run, but he hesitates. You're a good person. There's not a lot of people in this city who would stand up for what's right. If you need me, just let Armand know.
Appreciate it. You take care.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah, he turns and very quickly, just like the rat, finds a place to duck into and disappears into the city.
Sweet kid. Probably gonna end up in jail.
It's still better than being dead.
Guillaume,
Fair
maybe
enough.
he'll share a cell with you.
Ha. Ha ha ha.
She kind of winks at him a little
Hilarious.
bit. Like, that one was an obvious, like, just a poking play.
Yeah, and he's just kind of like, yes, of course. All right, Vera. Listen, I know we haven't always gotten along. We haven't always been the best of friends. I know maybe in the past I've said a thing or two that were less than kind about you.
Your apology is accepted, Guillaume.
Well, okay, good, but I just think with what's facing us, it might be best for us to try to, bury the hatchet just a little bit. Try to come to a little bit of a mutual understanding. It seems that we have enough enemies as is. And I honestly, I really just, I kind of just need to hear you say that you believe that I didn't kill Ravito. If I'm being honest, that's kind of gnawing at me at the moment.
I mean, I don't
This is a lot of lead up. I gotta say,
think
maybe too much.
I feel as though that based on how much we've been around each other over the course of the last 5 days, the probability that you killed him is very low.
Still not great, if I'm being honest. It's
Guillaume, I don't think you killed the man. I'm just annoyed with you.
Okay, that's fine. That I understand.
And your
Sure,
apology is accepted.
Again, don't know if I was apologizing exactly. I just think that we may have a better working relationship going forward if we don't always try to undermine each other at every step. I do respect you and what you do greatly. I want you to know that. And you can tell that he's got this kind of like practiced air of like, oh yes, this is the time to be conciliatory. There's like, it's not exactly insincere, but it's got just like an air of like, I know I need to be doing this right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. And she just, okay. And kind of lets it end there.
Glad we could put that behind us. And he like claps her on the back. Like, I'm glad you could be by my side through this difficult time.
She kind of
He looks
sighs
like a
for a
little
second and
disgusted.
goes, "Me too." It's very forced and like that same
Yeah,
air
like
of
I
I
feel like
need to say this kind of thing.
they both look like they're like smelling curdled milk while they talk. Right. So, I mean, obviously, I think the most pressing issue is the false accusation against me, but it does seem that we have some other large issues. So perhaps, I don't know. I'm not sure entirely what we should tackle first, because I think you have a good point about Lavinia will be out of her home, but I worry about Sylvie being here alone with, dare I say, a dangerous vampire. I think it's fairly reasonable to assume that Lavinia has become a monster.
Well, I think Sylvie mentioned that that's not for a couple days at least. She's got to have time to get things ready for the fitting. So I think the first thing that we need to worry about is making sure that Lox wins his fight tomorrow.
Now,
Right.
I only want people to come and help if that's what they want. I don't want anyone to feel beholden to it.
I think
I said
Vera would like kind of look at Lox way differently than she's been looking at Guillaume this entire time, with actual genuine like sincerity on her face and stuff. She would say, "There is absolutely no way you are doing this on your own."
Well, thanks.
right. I say we hit him hard before he even gets to the location.
Now listen, I don't think much of Luke, but this is personal to me. I only want to fight dirty if he does it first.
I was at the duel. He fought dirty at the duel with all those eyes on him. You think he's not going to ambush you as soon as you enter? That man has no honor. Trust me, I've grown up in high society in Aladalgo. I know honorless people when I see them.
I know you're right, but I got my process. Okay, this isn't the first time for me, and I got to do things a certain way.
But I'd certainly like it to be the last time with this particular foe, and I'd like you to come out on top. So I'll be there waiting to do whatever I can.
This thing with Luke and I, it's finished tomorrow night. I ain't got any more time to waste on him.
My question is, do you think this thing with you and Luke is actually going to end the issue that the King of Rats is having? Or are we still going to have to pursue this? Is this just more of clearing your personal vendetta?
Well, for me right now, it's about protecting myself and my friends. Luke's going to keep coming after me until he gets me. And he's so cowardly that he's going to do it in any underhanded way he can. He's going to stab my friends trying to get to me. Whether it resolves our matter with the King of Rats, I don't know.
So we deal with that tomorrow night, and then in a couple days, what if while Sylvie has Lavinia here doing the fitting, and someone can stay with her, maybe that lovely noble lady Solana can join to help watch over Sylvie, and maybe I think with the right makeup, and I'm about the same size as Lavinia, Maybe I could sneak into her house as her while she's not there.
I mean, that
See
seems
what we
good to
could
me.
turn
I was
up.
just gonna bust a window and climb in, but that seems a lot better. So, all right, tomorrow night, duel to the death. Night after that, sneaking into a vampire's estate. We've got a full schedule, folks.
I almost hesitate to say this, but the Iron Masks, what we know that they killed a rather unpopular consigliere who, I mean, we were all here. The guy was a real dick. Let's be honest. It wasn't surprising. Do we, and he looks like he feels like he's about to say something idiotic. Like, do we know for sure that they're antagonists in all of this? I mean, they're clearly powerful and dangerous, but I wonder if there's any way that they could be perhaps on our side in the long run.
You know, I don't know. I don't know what their play is. I don't know what their part in it is. And whether they like it or not, the investigation into these murders is ultimately going to lead to them, right? So I don't know. I mentioned the Iron Mask one time to those kids I had running for me, and yeah, the way they reacted was real spooked. Didn't give me a good feeling at all. And granted, I tangled with one of them, and it was pretty fucking scary, but he also didn't kill me. So
He could have killed both of us.
He could have easily killed everyone in the room and walked away with nary a blood splatter on him, guaranteed. So yeah, maybe there's an in there.
We do still have a little bit of their property. There's one other thing. I can't believe I'm going to say this either. I'm a little worried about Chimeran too. It's been long enough since we've seen him. I mean, I guess Lox is right. Maybe I am loyal to a fault. And he says it in a way of like, it's kind of almost like self-deprecating, but self-aggrandizing. Like, maybe this is one of my many virtuous flaws.
Oh, you know
but,
me, just always worrying about my friends.
But maybe we should check out his place. I mean, the note we got was pretty vague. We did get a note, right? I thought we got a note that was like, "Don't worry about me." Like that. Listen, I mean, generally, I'm more worried about whoever he's with, but I think we should still probably try to find him.
I don't know Chimeran as well as some of y'all. Like, does he disappear like this from time to time? Is he known to do that?
I only saw him occasionally at social events. He's a fun fella to have around, so I never complained about his presence. And honestly, now I'm kind of missing the chap.
He's always been, I don't know, fairly decent and generous with my staff, as far as I know.
Yeah, we probably should look into that, I guess. I can't imagine he would have just disappeared for no good reason.
That's what has me concerned.
I think we should do that maybe as soon as possible before we get into any entanglements tomorrow. We could use him. He's got a good blade hand.
I agree.
All right, when Sylvie gets back, maybe we all head over. I think it may not be safe for us to travel alone at night, knowing that Lavinia and God knows how many other things are out there. And with Luke maybe gunning for us. Bowing for us. Arrowing for us. Swording for us. Coming for us.
If we don't want to be apart from each other, and since you are technically homeless, Guillaume, and probably can't afford to get any place decent right now, anyone who wants to stay at the Castillo can. I just would like to request that if you do decide to stay there for the night, Guillaume, you use your disguise stuff again, so the Justicaros don't see you entering.
Of course. I appreciate the hospitality, Vera, and he'll kind of bow slightly.
I think it's probably at that point that Sylvie comes back.
Sylvie, just the woman I was hoping to see.
Oh,
Tell me,
good.
if you have a chance, do you possibly have anything slightly inconspicuous that I could borrow or purchase? I left in this, and honestly, it's embarrassing trying not to be seen in these rags.
Guillaume, must you be so insulting so late at night? Inconspicuous. And she looks around at all the fabrics.
I know. The problem is most of my wardrobe came from your shop, and all of it is too fabulous to wear without being instantly recognized. It's a great flaw that I unfortunately have acquired no tasteless clothing of my own, and I do apologize. I was wondering if you might be able to throw something together.
Stop! You'll break something. I will get something for you. And she will go. And you can see, like, as she's walking away, like scissors and thread, and a needle kind of lift up from the air and follow her. And you hear just a bunch of cuts, like all these noises, fabric ripping, and in moment she comes out, with just like a very normal dark pair of clothing, and she almost holds it out to you, like turning away from it. Please tell no one that I made this.
Of course not. But I will say, just with us here, it's the best version of what it is that it could be. I thank you.
It's the best, crappiest clothing you've ever made.
Yeah.
It's like if Da Vinci did a very, very simple doodle, but it's like the best. It's a Da Vinci doodle.
The little cat in the corner of the margins. She nods.
He'll slip into the back and get changed. And he'll recast his disguised self. Again, generally keeping his, like, most of his frame. Like, he'll kind of add like maybe a little bit of like extra bulk just to make him, not look exactly the same frame, but like sandy blonde hair and just kind of a plain face.
If Lox is able to, he might try and just like catch Sylvie's eye and say, sort of hushed, "Did Solana get out okay?"
Yes, she did. And I will be seeing her for a while. A little freaked out by the vampire thing.
We won't be seeing her for a while?
But are you surprised after what we told her?
No. not surprised. Just well, no. If you're not concerned, I'm not concerned.
I am. She looks at you like very seriously. I am not concerned.
Okay,
She can be trusted.
I believe you.
Speaking of concerned, we are getting a bit concerned about Chimeran, and we were thinking that we could head over towards his place now that we're all together. Does that sound okay to you, Sylvie?
Tonight.
Well, we think we should get together with him as soon as we can if he's there, and if something's happened to him. We want to make sure that we're able to get to him as soon as possible. But tomorrow night, we have serious business that it would be helpful to have him along on, and not to mention our worry.
We should
That's
definitely
the main
head over
concern.
tonight. I think we need to find him as soon as we can.
Sylvie just nods very quickly. Sure. And then what is the plan from then?
Well, we were thinking tomorrow night, duel to the death with all of us as backup for Locks. And then we were thinking the following night, perhaps you have that fitting, or maybe 2 nights later, whatever you have it set for. When you have the fitting, we were thinking about maybe using some disguise spells and makeup and stuff and dressing me up to look like Lavinia so that I can go into her house and search it while you have her for a fitting. And yeah, so murder and breaking and entering.
Sounds quite busy. Lux, I know that you want to end whatever you have with Luke tonight, that night. Do you think he might know anything, though, about what is going on? I'm not saying you can't kill him, but
He might. It might be worth it to ask. I hate to leave him alive, and I hate to ask a man a question before I kill him.
I can ask the questions.
That helps a little bit.
Perhaps. Go ahead.
I mean, if he brings friends, who's to say we cannot question them?
Yeah.
Perhaps you don't show up, and then when he stands there and waits for a while, and then when he leaves, we follow him back to wherever he goes.
Yeah. Or we could take him to the saint.
What if we inform the saint that he'll be meeting us there? I mean, he's part of this the second mischief, isn't he? Seems like he's involved with them. Maybe we send word. I know you just dismissed Bolso, but I mean, there's street rats all around here. We can probably rustle one up and get a message to the saint.
Yeah, that's a possibility too, I guess. I don't know. Now it's starting to feel like I'm ambushing him, and I don't know. I got to do it a certain way, It has to be.
You should do whatever makes you feel the best, and we will find the information some other way. It was just a thought.
You could kill him, and then we could take his body to the saint, and then I could ask him what you want him to know.
I don't want to leave any hole for that rat to slip through. I don't want any chance of him getting away and hurting somebody else because of me. So what we do after, I don't care. But tomorrow, me and him, I need to be able to end it.
Tomorrow it is.
Okay. So, does the group head to Chimeran's estate?
Sylvie wants to take as much time as unsuspiciously possible
Sure.
to
Sure.
get ready to go. Just kind of tidying everything up from our little kidnapping session, making sure the linens are all fine for Constanza to be able to open the store the next day.
Absolutely. There's
Yeah,
a lot of
Guillaume will-
bloodstains.
Guillaume will be like going through all the fabrics and just using prestidigitation to slowly clean all the blood off of any of the fabrics, and anything that's like torn, he's going to just start kind of using mending to try to stitch together. Some of it might look like a little bit off, like he clearly like didn't quite line up the design right. Like one of them's like, like at a wrong angle.
I think Vera sees one of them that's not lined up, and she just goes, "Oh, you're just gonna make her mad."
At least I'm trying to help.
I mean, that's fine. I'm just telling you, like, if you can't do it right, don't do it at all.
I don't know. I think it looks kind of good. It's an interesting take on this pattern.
Just
So, after this inordinate amount of time, a fashionable amount of time, the four of you eventually make your way down through the streets and the canals of Aladalgo to a place that we've seen before, to Chimeran's estate. And when you knock upon the door, Karen, who is it that answers at this hour?
It would have been Vitor for sure. And probably it wouldn't be immediate because obviously it's late, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so Vitor will answer the door, and you see a man who's likely half elf. You can tell because he seems to be able to at least grow stubble on his face, and is not without his own scars. But he's kind of surprised and maybe somewhat annoyed to find people at the door. He answers and he says, "Can I help you?" "Oh, please, by all means, now be quiet."
is
Hi,
go for it.
I think Vera's probably a better person to be asking.
Oh my god, I can't remember how to pronounce his name now.
Chimera.
Oh, thank you. I wanted to say cinnamon. It's getting late. Darling, we're here to see Chimeran.
Do you have any idea what time of night it is?
Yes.
Very well. Please come in. And he kind of gestures. I will fetch him.
Yep. Vera walks in.
He kind of closes the door behind the last of you and then begins to make his way kind of deeper into the estate, and you hear him up the stairs. What happens next?
So after a short period of time, but long enough that you guys are getting probably a little antsy about why it's taking so long. Chimeran would be coming down the stairs. He's very disheveled. You can see he's like buttoning up his shirt, and then he's kind of like putting shirt in his pants. Well, my besties, what you guys all doing here? Did you not get my note?
Oh, we did, but we wanted to come and tell you personally about the fun and exciting evening we've had.
Oh, do tell.
More dead people. We sent a were-rat to deliver a message. Lox is going to get into a duel tomorrow night, and then in a couple nights, we're going to break into someone's house to steal information.
Lox, my man! A duel.
Yeah, it's the guy that I dueled before, but we're just gonna do it again, and I'm gonna kill him this time.
Do you need a second?
We're all gonna kind of go and sort of have backup because he's probably gonna bring a bunch of guys too. So we'll see how
we
it goes.
need to be prepared for an ambush, but we're not going to counter ambush.
Yeah.
Okay. But why are you here?
Where the hell have you been?
I told you in my note. Didn't you get the note? I had business.
Yeah, that's not really an answer. I don't know if you remember, but we were all present and implicated in a murder. I don't know what business you had that was more pressing than that. Like, I don't mean to be rude. I don't want to pry, but I will say I think we all have kind of an important thing right now going on.
And I was trying to take care of my part so that it wouldn't be, blow up in our faces. It's all good. I'm not implicated. We're all great. You guys all took care of your business, right? Before.
No, I have lots of outstanding business. I have tons of things I have to get to at some point.
Okay, well, definitely we'll help you with that.
Did you know that Guillaume is being falsely accused of murder by the Justicaros? They were at the Castillo. You wouldn't know that because you disappeared, but...
I see. So I wasn't the only one contacted. Got it. Were each of you contacted?
I don't...
Well, my father was.
Mm-hmm.
And at that, you can see on Chimeran's face, like, the genuine sense of, almost like regret, pity for you, knowing that with your father, that couldn't have been pleasant. Oh, how did that go?
Not great, but maybe better than I kind of thought it would. It at least seems like he sort of believed me.
Why wouldn't he?
Because you've met him and you've met me.
But you didn't do it.
Well, no, but that's never stopped him from believing in my misdeeds before. I'm not as mischievous as everyone.
Well, I knew he was an asshole, but I didn't think he was that much of an asshole.
I think it's just that everyone assumes that I'm a little bit more of an asshole than I am. I mean, listen, I'm.
From what I got from the Justicaro, they're pretty much counting on the fact that if you show up at home again, your dad will turn you over. He's not willing to he's not willing to sacrifice his standing in the city.
No, I got the distinct impression that he's not going to be able to help me. Because he told me he's not going to be able to help me.
I got the distinct impression from the Justicaros that he's willing to turn you over.
I mean, I was home earlier, and he told me that they spoke to him, and he offered to get me out of the city, and he let me pack up my things and leave. So at the very least, my father may be an asshole, but he's not. He's still my father. He's not going to turn me in. But I'm not there anymore. I don't want to get him in any trouble that he doesn't need to be in. He has nothing to do with any of this.
Anyways, we were coming to check on you because we were worried about you. Because you disappeared in the midst of all this angst and drama, and we were concerned. So now that we've found you, we're letting you know that tomorrow night where is this going to be at, Lux?
Oh, an abandoned cobbler.
An abandoned cobbler's shop, like a shoe store?
Yep. It's like a shoe repair place.
That's where you lost your eye?
I guess so. Apparently, yep. That's where it happened.
Cobbler's tools are sharp. They gotta they got like stuff to like pry off that like the sole of the shoe.
No, so it was abandoned a long time ago. We used to use it for drops. We were running stuff, and anyway, that's where it went down.
So tomorrow night.
Perfect.
Otherwise, I guess some of us are going back to the Castillo. You're welcome to join if you want, or stay at your own place, whatever.
My bed is comfy. I enjoyed this stuff. You're here already. Do you just want to stay?
Do you have room in here for everybody?
Oh, you'll kind of have to bunk together. But I'm sure we could find room for everyone.
I
mean,
Vitor,
I'd like to ask Vera, just when you offered us a room at the Castile, was entertainment included in the offer, or I was just wondering, because like I could head back to the Castile.
I will let you put
It's been a hard day, Lux.
I'll let you put your charges on your tab. But your tip to whomever you choose for services is needing to be paid up front.
That's fine. I've retained some funds. I didn't leave my home empty-handed.
Then there will definitely be a warm bed for you at the Castillo.
Well, my vote is we head back there. No offense, Chimeran. It's just that if I'm going to be bunking with someone tonight, I would prefer it wasn't Locks.
What the hell, man? Come on.
I mean, we can. You're
I don't
not
really
my
think-
type, but
I don't really think that you would regret that.
I mean, you can just sleep too. You don't have, if you're, never mind. It's just.
Guillaume will kind of like look Locks up for a moment and like, no, maybe not. Maybe not. Might not regret that.
I think there's a moment where like Guillaume and Locks both kind of look at each other, where there's like this expression where it's like they both thought about this before.
All right, so where is everybody bunking then?
I guess at least Vera and Guillaume are going to the Castillo. Is Locks coming to the Castillo? Okay. Sylvie,
Yep.
where are you going with? Okay.
I actually do think Sylvie is going to go back to her shop. She just needs to be alone, I think. Just for like I'm seeing this from my introverted point of view, and I'm like, oh my god, I would just need like a little bit of, a pair of headphones and some
I have
like,
peopled so hard today.
yeah. I just need you to listen to some rock music with a little plushie and just like sit in a corner for a little bit. So I think that's what Sylvie's gonna do.
You're like, I've got stuff lined up for 2 nights after this. Like, Jesus.
You always need to mentally prepare too by going through every situation that could ever happen. So
why did I say yes to all these events? Maybe if I'm really lucky, they'll cancel one.
Could you imagine? Luke
Maybe
just
I'll
like,
die
"Ah,
before the
we'll
second
cancel."
one. I don't know. I could get lucky.
That's incredible. Okay. So, though you are separated by however many miles, nothing befalls you as you sleep. All of you qualify for a long rest. You get plenty of sleep, even if you exercise a little first, Guillaume. And the next day, you are all able to go about whatever business it is that you would like to before your nightly appointment. So is there anything that anybody wants to try to accomplish during the daylight hours?
Guillaume would like to scout out the cobbler shop. He'd like to at least like survey the ground and see. So I don't know if he may want to do this without Lox's knowledge, but like let like maybe Vera and Chimeran and Sylvie in on it. That like he wants to kind of set up, like try to prepare a pre-ambush, like get set up so like when the bad guys betray us, we're a little bit ready to spring a trap.
This is something you go alone to do, Guillaume?
I don't think so. I think he would honestly, I think he would probably ask Chimeran to come with him because he knows that Chimeran is a little tricksy, and knows those like kind of traps and things more than he does.
Sure. Yeah. Chimeran would go with Guillaume. 1, to keep him out of trouble, and 2, to arrange this as well.
Okay. So both of you, if you would, please go ahead and make either perception or investigation rolls. I think either one could possibly apply here.
It's an unnatural 20. Oh, dang it. She got 20.
Yeah,
Okay.
24 perception. Yeah.
Okay. Both were perception based? Is that right, Austin?
No, I was investigation.
You did investigation. Okay. So yours is a little more active. You're kind of maybe even like moving closer amongst the confines of the building itself. And maybe Chimeran is more kind of like on watch, so to speak. But around the same moment, you both realize that you find where the cobbler shop is. And it looks like it has been closed down and boarded up for a very long period of time. Most of the glass that was in the door has been broken out. The doorknob itself at some point was removed. It was, boarded shut. There's notices all over the door. But you very quickly realize that this place is not empty. Before you even manage to make it inside, you can hear the shuffling of boots on the floor inside, and you hear voices talking. They're not whispering, they're talking at a normal volume, so they don't seem concerned with stealth.
I'll put an ear to the door and just kind of listen to what they're saying for a minute. Just try to catch what I can of their conversation, see if it's related to our upcoming battle.
Sure. Okay. Roll a stealth for me.
It's a 14.
Okay. You kind of slink up to maybe this door where the doorknob itself has been removed, and you're able to kind of put your ear close to it and give it a listen. With little effort, you're able to overhear their conversation quite well. You recognize one of the voices, undoubtedly belonging to Luke. You've only heard him speak, a little before the duel happened with Lox, but you were there, and you are fairly certain that you hear his voice now. And it sounds like maybe at least 3 or 4 others here, and they are discussing amongst themselves about how this meeting is going to go. And without a doubt, they are planning to jump Lox the moment that he walks in through the front door.
I think that's so. Okay, so he's not gonna worry about scouting out the location too much right now. Really, he's just gonna now. Guillaume just wants to bring that information back to Lox so that Lox will be on board with the plotting to ambush them. Now that he knows, like, okay, we have confirmation. Like, I just want to go straight to him and be like, hey, I heard it out of his mouth exactly. He's going to jump you. He has no plans to fight fair. The fair fight is off before it begins. Let's fuck him up.
So before we go back, Chimera would like to check to see if there's like a back entrance. After, I'm sure Guillaume would have told what you heard to Chimera being there. So they said coming through the front door. Let's check if there's a back door before we leave.
There absolutely is. Yes.
Quick idea, Chimera. Could we block both the exits and set the building on fire? Is that... No, Lox wouldn't be happy about that. Okay, never mind.
But
bad idea.
Is the building wood or is it stone? Because Chimera's kind of going, huh?
Stone.
I'm not going to burn so well. No.
Just that like slow fade to the picture.
I had to check for myself.
No, that killed me. That was so good. Yeah, stone. Okay, never mind. Not that. Let's find the back. Let's see if there's a back entrance.
So you definitely do find a back entrance into this place. Kind of, there's a footpath alleyway that kind of leads between it and the building next to it. That kind of leads to a place that looks like it's mainly for the coming and going of supplies that would be brought in. But with the proximity of this to a canal, your guess is that, like many of the buildings here in El Hidalgo, it probably has access to the water as well.
So we don't come in the front door. But we need to tell Lox.
Yeah, he needs to know about this. I don't think he's going to be happy about it, if I'm being honest. I've known him long enough to know that he's the kind of fool that prefers a fair fight.
He's honorable.
I know. What's with that?
It's a great quality.
It's endearing. I'll give him that. It is endearing.
Too few people have it nowadays. Myself included. I know.
I was gonna say it's a bit of a liability because of that, but all right. Let's let him know.
Yeah, so I'd say we head back because our ambush plans are not going to work now.
So where do they find you, Lox?
I think that, man, what would Lox be doing? I think that Lox would maybe be just sort of chilling. Like he'd probably like be taking a meal, like he's probably drinking a little bit, mostly hanging out around Vera's place. Not even necessarily like partaking of any entertainment there, but just like hanging around people, getting ready mentally for what is going to happen. So they probably find him like sitting in front of like maybe one of the fires or something, and like if there's a common room downstairs.
So I think Chimeran would just kind of come in. I know Guillaume's, I don't know if he's going to do his fanfare, but Chimeran's not worried about that. He's just going to come straight over to Lox, sit right down beside you, put kind of a arm around you like, my man, I need your sword for a second.
And I'm remembering that I have a deck of cards on me. So Lox is like playing some sort of like solitaire game with the cards in front of him. Like pretty much like the most boring thing you can do in a fucking brothel. He's sitting there doing it. And he looks over at you. Why?
Just trust me on this one. Sword?
I mean,
I'll give it back.
Technically, you can't take it from me. So here.
Dagger?
What? You're disarming me. Just tell me what you're going to tell me.
Dagger?
Which one? I have a
Both
few of them.
All of them.
Fine. Okay. And he like pulls the dagger that's like very clearly at his belt. There's one in his boot. And then he like reaches back and it's like pinned to his back beneath his collar. Here.
All right, thank you. And Chimera would then take them, step back a ways, and then go, all right, Guillaume, tell him.
So, about that fair fight, that's not going to happen. I don't. Now, listen, I wasn't going to do anything that you wouldn't have approved of, but I did want to go look at the location. I wanted to know the ground we would be fighting on. So I went to take a look and see if maybe there was some preparations we could take to, prepare ourselves in case of the inevitable betrayal. And apparently I wasn't the first one to have the idea to scout out the location. Luke was there. I overheard them talking. They're going to jump you the second you walk in.
So first, I don't need a sword to kick your ass, right, Guillaume?
Oh, yeah. No, I had nothing to do with what Chimeran was planning. I just figured that telling you the truth would be enough to kind of insulate me from your wrath.
Just didn't want you to kill him by accident.
Have you seen how quickly he can get that sword back in his hand?
It's very fast.
I've seen him do it. I've seen him do it from across.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that.
It's impressive.
Did they see you? Did they hear you?
No.
Are you sure? Are you positive that they did not see you?
100%. And like whether or not I as a player think that then it's possible, Guillaume's absolutely not. We were silence itself.
Chimeran's offended you even had to ask that.
All right. So then we fight dirty, meet him halfway, get the saint up there.
Well, we found a few other means of egress, and we could potentially spring our own little trap. We could come in from an unexpected angle or multiple angles at once.
I'm open to any ideas y'all have.
And then maybe at that point, Chimeran would step back, put all this hardware back on the table in front of Lox, and I think they'd sit down and maybe kind of explain the building's setup, the fact of this canal, the back door, the possibility of water, and whatever else we scouted while we were there. It's your call.
Admittedly, I'm not much of a strategist, but seems like we should maybe try and enter from as many places as we can. Luke's probably expecting me to walk in the front door and meet him head on. So maybe
I might
that's
have
what
an
I
idea.
do.
I might have an idea for that. Maybe we send someone or something else through the front door while we approach from a different angle.
Okay. Like what?
He'll kind of glance down to his bag where he's got his spell book. Say, there are a few things I know that could possibly create a bit of a distraction to walk through the door for us. Something that might not be quite as vulnerable to permanent death as we are.
All right. Yeah, I'm open to that. Send in a distraction through the front door. What, we come in the back, the side?
The basement, the roof, yeah. You know him.
Knew
him.
him.
And how dirty he is. What else is he going to be planning? Don't think with your Locke's brain, Locksley. Think with your Luke brain. If you were Luke and you were as despicable and wanted to win this fight because you couldn't win it fair, what would you do?
Jeremy, can I maybe Lox is not a wise person, but maybe some sort of like an insight check or something for me to like try and think through the Luke as I knew him, the sorts of things that he would do, the sorts of like tricks he would play, the cons he would run. Like maybe I have some idea behind his like strategies.
Okay. Do you have a point of inspiration you want to spend?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay. So I'll tell you this. If you want to spend a point of inspiration,
Mhm.
I will let you just know that. Like,
Okay.
Lox just remembers something in particular about Luke's typical approach to this kind of a situation.
Okay. Yeah, I will use that point of inspiration then.
Okay. Yeah, so again, I mean, Luke, if Luke had enough discipline, he would have made a very good assassin. He cares nothing for rules, honor, the right way of doing anything, and he will absolutely do anything to get what he wants. He also has a hang up about always being right, always being on top.
Luke's clever. He's cleverer than me, honestly, but he's emotional. He's quick to anger, and more than anything, he loves being right. I think if we can catch him off guard, if we can put his plan into shambles, if we can stop this ambush from happening, make him look like an asshole in front of his guys, he'll lose that cool head. He'll want to hurt me. I'll finish him.
Well, we might already be throwing a wrench in his plans by not playing fair. I think he probably expects you to be who you are.
Yeah, he does. I'd imagine he does.
But being who he is, he's also going to expect some deceptions. You're always afraid of what you do yourself.
And he knows I'm running with a different crew, so he's not going to rule y'all out. He might know you're coming, or at least be planning for it.
Are we not just going to all walk in with you? There to watch the fight?
Maybe, but that wouldn't be his assumption. He'd assume you were there to get involved.
As far as I can tell, it seems like he would think that he was being called out for another one-on-one duel. Might be best for us to hide a bit, show up when he's not expecting us.
You know what he's not going to expect? Locks to not show up.
I said this.
Mm.
I said, don't go.
And you know what's going to piss him off? That he's wrong about Locks coming and falling into his plan. Locks, if you don't go, if none of us go, if the time comes and goes, he's going to be livid that you fooled him, that you called him out, beat him at his own game. And then when they leave, that's when we attack.
That's going to be really hard for me to do. But it's not a bad plan.
It's okay, buddy. I'll hold your hand through it. And Guillaume is smiling pretty broadly at this, like, I like this plan.
So I just don't show up?
Nope.
We camp out. We cover the exits. Whichever way they leave, we hit them the second they exit.
Okay. Okay. So what? We find a vantage point nearby, someplace safe, someplace hidden where we can watch, see all the exits. That's going to be tough to come by. And I don't want us all spread out either.
Your rats.
Didn't you say that it was near the river?
The canal. You also have your little rats.
I
don't want to put them in danger, but they could be eyes, so he can't slip through.
What if we funnel them to the exit we choose? We block the front door. We make it harder or impossible for them to get out that way. They might know something's coming, but they're not going to know what. I don't think they'll expect this from you, Locks.
Oh, Guillaume. We lock the door, the front door, so they can't get out. And you try to burn them down. We know it's not going to work, but are they smart enough to know that? We throw in something in the window, it starts making a lot of smoke. They panic, they can't get out the front. They have to leave out the back.
And that's where the rest of us are waiting.
Does the canal butt right up against the back of it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's likely they have canal access from the building.
No, what I'm saying is why don't we get some of the boats, and why don't we be waiting so that when they're leaving, so we're not trying to hide in buildings. Like, what if we hide on boats right on the canal?
I think it might be advantageous to have us have a few positions, but I think having someone in a boat is a good idea. Plus, if they exit by the water, they may be on gondolas themselves, and we could always sink those while they're waiting inside, so they have fewer means of escape.
Well, and it makes transporting his body easier too. Then, once he's dead, it's easier to get it down to the Saint. The canal right there.
Is there somewhere in town that we would know that we could get like, I guess like alchemist fire or like something like an explosive of some sort? I'm wondering if we can like kind of like, here's my thought. If they do come in boats, we could like secret some explosives or something onto their boats and wait for them to get, like, I don't know if they're coming by boat, but it's like there's like a 50-50 chance at this point that like they would get there on the canal. So it's a thought.
We know someone who could make alchemist fire.
That's kind of the other thing I was wondering is poisons might not be that bad to have.
We know a certain talented,
Yeah, I mean,
eligible young lady who.
Yeah, as Guillaume is asking this question, his face starts to drop as he realizes who he is describing. Say,
Guillaume,
does anybody else
I don't
want
want to have to ask you to do that on my account.
me?
Oh,
it's gotta
he's
be
fine
me.
doing it. He's fine doing it. It's fine. Don't worry.
Oh, but her mother. Oh God. Okay. I'll see what I can get.
All right. So Guillaume, you're on fiance duty. I'm going to try and get word down to the saint, let him know what we're planning. Let him know that they might be trying to escape through the canals if we're not able to stop them.
Could have scouts ready to track them. That would be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like we have a plan that is formulating. And I think before we pull the trigger on any of this stuff that we're going to go ahead and call it tonight. So that'll give everybody a month to kind of plan a little more if they want, add anything on to some of these points that they want to try to hit before we start this thing. Y'all, this is incredible. I love this game so much. It is a dumpster fire and a half, and it's in the best way. All of these characters are so tragic by their own design, and and I love it. I'm here for it. So thank you so much for not only bringing such incredibly flawed characters to this game, but again, like I said in the chat, like just getting Gerdessi society, just understanding what I was hoping for in this game, and absolutely just going whole hog for it. It is deeply appreciated. I'm going to pass things back over to my players so that they can tell you where you can find them on the internet, what they might have going on, and we're going to call it an evening. So we'll go in reverse order and start with Karen.
Hello, everyone. This game is so much fun. Love it to pieces. It's so twisted. It's awesome. Can't wait for the next session and see what happens then. In the meantime, in a couple of weeks, check out Dice on Ice when we do our finale of Curse of Strahd. Oh, I'm so excited about that too. Anyway, that's really all I got right now.
Yeah, that's very, very exciting. Again, ending a 3-year campaign is just a really, really good feeling. Yeah, I'm really excited for y'all. All right, speaking of excited, Austin.
Jeremy, I feel like I've said this like 6 times in your games, but like that was maybe the best gaming experience I've had so far. That was so fun. I like constantly topping yourself. I just like, and I love this group of players. It was such a blast. Recapping the campaign was just the greatest. I don't know why that was so fun. Like I can't explain or put into words like what was so fun about that, but like just bouncing off everybody and having to like recap all of these insane threads that we've had coming together and trying to like conjecture at the same time. So good. I'm really excited to see where this goes. It's really exciting to be like have like kind of a proactive plan too for our characters for the first time in a while, where we've been really reactive to everything. So it's really nice to be like, okay, now we're gonna go fuck somebody up. And I hope it goes to plan. I'm sure it'll go horribly wrong before it's over, but as long as he ends up dead, I'll be happy. So I'm super excited to see where this goes. I cannot wait for the next session. I can't believe we have to wait a whole freaking month.
Yeah, I don't know how it could possibly go wrong. That doesn't happen. But yes, again, y'all have given me such incredible, deep, complex things to work on with these characters. You make it a lot of fun to hurt them. I mean, no. Yeah, it's just unreal. And I cannot wait to see where this is going to go next. When you all asked for, a moment to kind of collect and figure out all of the tangled web that has kind of been spun so far, I love giving that kind of thing, and y'all absolutely did a tremendous job with it. And again, having Solana there gave a really organic way to kind of go into all of it in a way that I wasn't expecting. So I'm really, really pleased with how that turned out.
Oh, I want to add one more thing. I always do this.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
always like say my thing and then I'm like, oh yeah. Kenya. I just want to give Kenya a shout out for how amazing
Yes.
the barbed repartee with every single character was tonight. That was on point and fucking amazing, and I loved it. Just so good. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. And that sounds like a recommendation for a point of inspiration. So Kenya, you can take a point of inspiration. Yeah, I agree. Everybody was on fire tonight. There was several scenes that were just 100% on point. So much better than I envisioned. As always, I shouldn't be surprised anymore, but I am. Speaking of pleasantly surprised, always, you're up.
Yeah, I'll echo all of everyone else's sentiments. That was just a very, very enjoyable session, and a game that I always look forward to. So it's always really fun to play this type of game and to really kind of stretch your narrative and speaking chops. So yeah, just an absolute blast. It's so cool when you can just picture in your mind the scene that's happening and you no longer see the people on the screen, but you can see you're at the boutique and people are standing around and you can like see it in your mind. It's just it truly engulfs you, and that has been happening to me time after time in this session, and it's in this game, and it's so fun and it's so amazing and it's just so immersive. One of the most immersive games that I've ever been in. So amazing. So thanks for letting me be a part of it. And yeah, I can't wait till next one. That will, like Kenya said, take a year to come up again.
Thank you, Emma. I appreciate that very much. That makes me really, really happy. I'm sure anybody who has watched my games knows that I'm very much a cinematic style dungeon master. I lean very heavily on that because I watch a ton of television and movies, and I have most of my life, and that's the way I like to tell stories. So being able to hear that that a player has found themselves that deeply immersed where it feels like a movie in your head, that makes me very happy. That's one of the best compliments I've ever received, so thank you. Speaking of one of the best compliments I've ever received, Matt.
Hey everyone, I'm Matt, and tonight's session was so fun. I had such a blast. yeah, everything everyone else has said. Like, this game is just so, like, it's one of those things where I'm like, I have no idea what's going on, like no clue what's going on, but like I'm so invested, and like I see the pieces, and I don't know how they all fit together yet. And like Jeremy, you're just doing like a phenomenal job of like putting these little nuggets, these little clues, and like connections that are, we can almost see them. And when things start to come together for us, it's just going to be fantastic. So really enjoying all the intrigue, like that's like, I've played in a lot of games that have been advertised as like intrigue, and I've tried to run games that have been advertised as intrigue, but like I actually feel like there's like fucking intrigue in this game, man. Like yeah, anyway, great session. Can't wait for the next one. I feel like this plan is just going to be ridiculous. I can't wait.
Thank you. Also, that is a huge compliment as well. When all of you were like, when we filled out the cope list, and the thing that kept getting hit the most was like political intrigue, backstabbing, and like underhandedness, and I was like, okay, like good, because that's what Gerdessi kind of is, and I'm really happy that everybody was really wanting that. And then again, all of you gave such these very complex shitstorms that surround your characters, and being able to find ways to kind of like have the shitstorms overlap and blend together. It's been a really fun mental exercise, and I'm glad that it's now starting to bear fruit, and things are starting to kind of come out into the open, and y'all are starting to learn how some things are related and connected to one another, and seeing the guesses and how close you may or may not be on some of them is that's essence for my veins, sincerely. Okay, yeah, speaking of essence for my veins, last but not least, Kenya. Just roll with it. Just go.
I'm rolling. I'm there. Yeah, I think everybody else has pretty much said well. Thank you guys for your compliments on that. Vera is actually she's a doozy of a character, man. She's got issues, man. Like, but I love her to death. I love playing her. I've been waiting for a really good opportunity where we could kind of get into something like this. And I too have to second that. I love the organic nature of how we did what we did tonight, so that it didn't feel like it was just a bunch of players sitting around the table going, okay, this is what we know, blah, 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 blah. Like, it literally, Karen being in the secondary character, it was just the perfect way to make it go, and it was just amazing. And I love this game so much. I love every single one of these players that are with here. Jeremy, you run such amazing games. I'm every session we have, I'm very thankful for the fact that you chose to bring me into your game. It really means a lot, because I am having a great time in here. And yeah, I am so super excited as we wait for the next year for the game to show up again. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, it was just such a good night. It was just such a good night. This game always just leaves me on such a high. I'm on such a RP high after this game every session. I just love it. I'm going to be staring at the ceiling until like 3 o'clock in the morning, probably. But thank you. And good night.
That sounds awful, and I'm sorry that this game is going to be the cause of that. But at the same time, no. Yeah, you're all just incredible. I love it, and I cannot wait to get deeper involved in what's going on. Because you're not wrong, Austin, when Karen, whenever you said it in the chat that the tips of the iceberg on a lot of these things. I'm really excited to see how it's all going to come out into the wash. So yeah, I think that's all I've got. Everybody, if you watched this game, thank you so much. Whether you watched with us live this evening or whether you may be tuning in at some point in the future, it means a ton to me. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you like this kind of content, like, subscribe, all of that kind of stuff. yeah, you can find a bunch of links for things going on below that I've got projects and things. Go check them out if you feel like it. Anybody who mentioned a channel, you should be able to find the link for that in the description of the video down below as well. Please do take the time to go check them out. It is more than well worth your time. If this episode didn't convince you of that, then I don't know what will. But yeah, I love you all. Be kind to one another, please. This world fucking sucks right now, and the only thing that we need to do is just take a little bit of time to be kind to one another. Don't forget to do that, please. So until next time, may your dice roll high and your snacks always be within reach.